With DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into 100. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The bird watching world has been taken by storm over a fight between two bird watchers. Who has seen the most bird species in the wild? It is a fight to the death. Maybe not to the death.
Okay, that's it.
That was a little dramatic.
We will get into Mixtape Monday coming up at the end of the show. Of course, you can only hear it live. We'll not be hearing it on the podcast. We talked earlier about the difference. Well, I don't know where this territorial dispute came from. I was just saying that the Shohei Ohtani thing, whatever the controversy is, clearly had to start while he was with the Angels, right? That's just the timing of it. Not that anybody knew necessarily, but it would be hard for an organization like that to have a superstar like him and not have some inclination that something was going on.
That territorial bravado was amazing. I'm also from Orange County, and yes, 100%. Keep Orange County out your mouth. Just kidding. We love you guys. I love that I said that. But yeah, pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Bringing the DAs in and everything. Props to that guy.
Props to that guy. All right, so let's start small.
Swamp is horrible.
The government doesn't work.
Man, we make this like a reality TV show.
What was a bad news?
Always play from Be Anywhere, Washington, D.C.
Hey, Joe.
Hey,
A town all too clearly built on a swamp. In so many ways, still a swamp.
that's a bunch of malarkey.
What's the greatest swamp I saw? So keep it's
You know the thing.
All right, two things working in the Trump legal drama world today. Number one, the former president will stand trial starting April 15th on charges related to that hush money that he wanted to pay to cover up claims of marital infidelity with the porn star Stormy Daniels.
This is the end of this hearing today resulted in that trial date of April 15th so that the lawyers could review some of the last-minute documents they said were relevant to this case. Federal prosecutors handed over hundreds of thousands of pages of documents related in recent weeks, and the judge did agree earlier this month to postpone the start of the proceedings until at least mid-April. But the Trump attorneys went to court again today because they wanted even more time. And the judge said that the DA's office is not at fault for the late production of documents from the U.S. Attorney's Office. The prosecutors also suggested that in this case, not all of those hundreds of thousands of documents were actually pertinent to the case.
He did get a dose of good news. A New York appeals court today also agreed to hold off on collection of his $454 million civil fraud judgment if he puts up $175 million within 10 days.
Yeah, so that $175 million could be posted while he appeals this. The five-judge panel ruled in a pretty short order after the former president said he could not get a bond to cover the full judgment in all of this. And this was what Trump was referring to when he said that Judge Engoron in this case had been overruled a fifth time, I think is what he said.
Despite the silliness of the hush money case, with all of the circus elements involving a porn star and the like, it does get added importance. It is the only legal case that appears likely for trial for Trump in the coming months.
He did say that it was unfair to be put on trial before November, which I don't understand. I mean, I understand why he's saying it. He doesn't want to have to deal with a campaign and a criminal trial at the same time. But in all of the context, he was in court.
Well, no, he can just pardon himself if he's president.
Right. In court, he was there for the hush money trial, but then spoke of the other ruling that came down today regarding the money.
But if I have to spend $500 million on a bond, I wouldn't have that option. I'd have to start selling things. I don't have to sell anything because it's a phenomenal company. Look, I built a phenomenal company. Someday they'll actually report that. I built a phenomenal company that's very low leverage, unbelievably low leverage, with a lot of cash out of everything else. Why should I let a crooked judge make a decision to give $450 million that allows me to spend very little money on my campaign if I so choose? I'll be spending money on my campaign. I might spend a lot of money on my campaign.
Now, I don't know. We don't know exactly what Letitia James is going to say about this in terms of what her plan was. We know that she wanted to move forward with seizing his assets, preparing to make sure that the judgment is paid. So she didn't really process or specify what holdings she was talking about. A lot of ink was written, was used over the weekend to explain the different avenues that she could go down, whether it was bank accounts, which would be relatively easy to seize, versus properties, and whether she could do it in places that he owns but do not exist in the state of New York, like Mar-a-Lago, for example. So there's still plenty of fighting that's going to take place on that financial document space.
A bill putting restrictions on social media use by young people is now law in Florida. We'll tell you about that when we come back. Ron DeSantis with a victory there. I wonder if other states will go this way as well. Also, did you see Kamala Harris over the weekend clapping and dancing along with protesters?
Yep.
Yeah, you should probably know what they're singing about before you start taking up the dancing.
Oh, and then everybody at NBC was really mad that they hired a Republican.
Yeah.
So I actually had some of the comments that was Chuck Todd made, and then Joe Scarborough and his lady friend on Morning Joe.
Oh, you don't remember Mika's name? Is it Mika?
Yes. Brzezinski. Are they married now?
I think so. Question mark. Would you like your Jeopardy question?
Oh, boy.
You're not ready? You had many days to prepare for this. U.S. franchises for $200.
There you go. How much?
$200.
Gary and Jenna will continue with Swamp Watch.
Deborah Mark.
There she is, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
An LA County firefighter assigned to Station 52 in Vernon has died. The fire department posted on social media late last night about the active duty death of firefighter Jonathan Van O'Fellon. No details about how he died were given. A money manager has been sentenced to nearly 8 years in prison for stealing more than $1 million from a psychiatrist in Thousand Oaks. Prosecutors say David Snyder stole the money from 2014 to 2018 while managing the doctor's business affairs, and no tickets won the Powerball jackpot, which is now up to $800 million. The next Powerball drawing is tonight. The Mega Millions jackpot is just over $1 billion tomorrow. We're going to head over to the 215 next.
Over the last 20 years, the attorneys at Sweet James have helped enough accident victims to fill an entire sports arena.
Because the role they play in the injured client's recovery drives them to produce the best results.
Yeah, listen to this story. A client's world changed after a reckless drunk driver hit his vehicle, left him with severe injuries.
He could not get the insurance company to help him at all. And after all of the frustration, he finally called Sweet James.
His team of attorneys stepped in to make sure he got the medical treatment he really needed, and they wouldn't let up until they delivered a massive $7 million win for him.
In these types of situations, caring and winning go hand in hand because it means medical care and maximum compensation, and most importantly, justice.
That's Sweet James. If you're ever hurt in an accident, results matter. Call the attorneys at Sweet James and don't wait, because waiting can hurt your case.
809 million. That's 809 million. 800-900-0000 or go to sweetjames.com.
Going to a crash on the 215 in Moreno Valley. It's on the 215 northbound right after East Ridge, Eucalyptus Avenue. The right lane is blocked. Got a tractor trailer involved in this one. It is going to be stopped from Alessandro once you're past it. Slow over to that Riverside interchange. Also on the 91 westbound right at the Van Buren Boulevard off-ramp. They got that earlier crash cleared. In Victorville, 15 southbound, right after Bear Valley Road. Still working on an overturned big rig that is blocking that right lane. And stay away from the 57 in Brea. 57 southbound. Completely shut down between Imperial Highway and Yorba Linda Boulevard. Southbound lanes are shut down. You're being diverted off. Your best alternate, Carbon Canyon for 142 is great if you got to take that. You take 71 and then take that southbound or Harbor Boulevard, which is to the west. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. After 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation promised to make sure we never forget. Since then, it's been supporting America's heroes and their families. Heroes like U.S. Army Specialist Michael Hook, who was killed in Iraq. Hook left behind a pregnant fiancée who gave birth to a son he would never meet. Tunnel to Towers paid off the mortgage on their home. America's heroes need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org. That's T, the number 2, t.org.
No matter what the day brings, count on Juicy Juice for the good stuff. Give kids the nutrients of real 100% fruit juice to help them conquer the day. Juicy Juice is only sweetened by the fruit with no sugar added, no high fructose corn syrup, and no artificial sweeteners. Available in family-sized bottles and juice boxes. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
Lucky Land Casino asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess? In my dentist's office. More than once, actually. Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kid's PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You could get lucky anywhere playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky?
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Marketing at Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale, it does include specific local markets, and that's the beauty of iHeart's network.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Discover one of the CIA's illicit Cold War initiatives on the iHeartRadio original podcast, Operation Midnight Climax, an undercover brothel dosing unwitting Americans with LSD, a mind control experiment going horribly wrong. Back in the 50s, the government wouldn't let you watch Elvis Presley shake his hips on TV, but the same government was running a brothel in broad daylight. Listen to Operation Midnight Climax on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Spherical world thing, that's pretty much settled, okay? And if you think that your idea of reality is comparable to my idea of reality, that we are actually debating something, no, Kelly, we can't have a real conversation. Live 7 to 10 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. But I think that's exactly why we can't do company picnics. Can you imagine? We'd have to rent out like a defunct youth facility of some kind.
I'm shocked. Yes. I'm shocked when any of us bring around people in our real lives around all of us.
I did the thing myself. Last night I was asking my daughter what she wanted to do for spring break. I was like, well, you can come to work with me. And then I thought, that's awful.
That's terrible. Why would you expose her to that? I mean, you've done it before, but enough is enough.
She knows.
You know,
She
like
knows
when your
why
daughter
she
and your
gets it.
wife come in here, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, they're such lovely people. And it's going to happen where everyone tries to be on their best behavior.
And then something
And
slips.
then something slips.
And then it just cascades.
Like Victor walks in randomly and he's doing your mom jokes, and it's just a problem.
Some of the stories that we're following today, calls are mounting to punish those behind that Russian concert hall attack that killed more than 130 people. Authorities are combing through the ruins of the shopping and entertainment complex for more bodies and caught fire after all of this. The Prime Minister said the investigation is still ongoing, but vowed the perpetrators will be published. They do not deserve mercy. That attack on Friday night on Crocus City Hall in the western outskirts of Moscow killed at least 137 people and injured 180.
A bill putting restrictions on social media use by young people is now law in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis signed HB 3 this morning. He had an appearance in Jacksonville. Among other things, this prevents kids under 16 from opening a social media account, although 14 and 15-year-olds can set up accounts with parental permission. Free speech advocates are promising a court challenge over the bill.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
way to die on that hill. The law takes effect in January.
This may be a naive way to look at it. If you're not 18, your access to the freedoms that are afforded you by the Constitution should be limited. Because that's not political speech. You know, that idea that you have the ability to do that as a 16-year-old without some sort of recourse or supervision from your parents is pretty ridiculous. But the Supreme Court tomorrow, by the way, is going to consider a new abortion case that affects women across the U.S. Abortion opponents want the Supreme Court to ratify a ruling from a conservative federal appeals court that would limit access to the pill mifepristone, which is used in nearly 2/3 of abortions last year. It's I guess you'd say the morning after pill. The case comes 2 years after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Obviously, a decision could come by late June. But like that ruling from a couple years ago, this could become a massive, massive campaign issue going into November. Mifepristone is made by a lab in New York. An early ruling from a U.S. district judge in Texas would have revoked the drug's approval.
Kamala Harris was visiting Puerto Rico. There was a song in Spanish sung by some protesters. Her and whoever the boob is next to her, I'm not sure who it is, they start clapping along to the music. We love Spanish music too. Música español. And then her aide leans in and is like, yeah, they're protesting you. This is a protest song. And Kamala's like, and then just stops the applause and the little dance she was doing.
She is also going to be meeting with President Bernardo Arevalo of Guatemala. The two leaders are going to talk about the Biden administration's use of safe mobility offices set up in Guatemala, Colombia, Costa Rica, and Ecuador in the fall, among other immigration matters. These safe mobility offices are designed to streamline the refugee process, so migrants can apply where they are and avoid paying smugglers to make the journey up north. They will also be discussing the anti-corruption agenda there in Guatemala and how the U.S. could support the effort in an attempt to try to make it better where people are so that they don't feel like they need to come to the United States for health and safety, among other things.
NBC is a mess right now. They are very upset with the network's decision to hire the former head of the RNC.
So Ronna McDaniel, she was the one who was just ousted recently so that Trump, as the head of the Republican Party, could basically handpick who he wants at the top of the RNC. And Chuck Todd, who used to host the Meet the Press on Sundays, let his bosses have it when it came to hiring Ronna McDaniel as a paid contributor to NBC.
I have no idea whether any answer she gave to you was because she didn't want to mess up her contract. She has credibility issues that she still has to deal with. Is she speaking for herself, or is she speaking on behalf of who's paying her?
Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski on Morning Joe had a similar reaction to it.
We weren't asked our opinion of the hiring, but if we were, we would have strongly objected to it for several reasons.
We hope NBC will reconsider its decision. It goes without saying that she will not be a guest on Morning Joe in her capacity as a paid contributor.
That was a pushback to what NBC put out, an email announcing that she would appear across all NBC News platforms. That sent a panic through MSNBC and Morning Joe's hallways, of course, because they said that they would never use her. There is the message sent by hiring McDaniel on a $300,000 a year contract. There's some concern that nobody would want to hear what she has to say. There were also problems. Chuck Todd had a problem with her explanations and her sidling up to Donald Trump, especially post-2020 election, even though recently they have had their falling out and are not considered patriots, shall we say, in the Republican Party.
The UN Security Council issued its first demand for a ceasefire in Gaza today, with the U.S. angering Israel by abstaining from the vote. Israel responded by canceling a visit to Washington by a high-level delegation. This is the strongest public clash between the allies since the war began. Netanyahu accusing the U.S. of retreating from a principled position by allowing the vote to pass without conditioning the ceasefire on the release of hostages held by Hamas.
A quick note from over the weekend: the president did sign into law that $1.2 trillion spending package, so we will not have to use the term government shutdown anytime in the next 6 months.
I was looking forward to that.
Put it away for a little while.
My goodness.
It'll come back, don't worry. It'll come back. Gary and Shannon will continue. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun is stepping down.
It comes less than 3 months after a door plug blowout left a gaping hole in an Alaska Airlines Boeing jet mid-flight. Calhoun called the incident a watershed moment for the company, which had already been facing scrutiny for 2 deadly crashes in 2018 and 2019.
ABC's Mike Dubusky says Calhoun will leave Boeing at the end of the year. Board Chairman Larry Kellner is set to resign in May, and Stan Deal, CEO of Boeing Commercial Airplanes, is resigning effective immediately. 3 men from Chile have been arrested in Irvine on suspicion of burglary. Police say that officers spotted a suspicious SUV last week, pulled it over, and found head deterrent, shoe covers, gloves, and masks inside. They say the 3 men are linked to a transnational crime ring and were casing the neighborhood. Sergeant Kerry Davies says earlier this month there had been 34 home burglaries in the area over a 35-day period. Davies says 7 of those burglaries were consistent with those pulled off by theft rings from South America.
They're requesting code 3 for a possible mountain lion attack.
A mountain lion has killed a man in a forest area near Sacramento.
The El Dorado County Sheriff's Office says they received a call Saturday afternoon from an 18-year-old who said a mountain lion attacked him and his 21-year-old brother. Deputies and paramedics are finding the mountain lion next to the 21-year-old on the ground.
ABC's Zoreen Shaw says the younger brother was taken to a hospital where he has had multiple surgeries. The Department of Fish and Wildlife and an El Dorado County trapper shot and killed the mountain lion. Officials say the men had gone into the forest Saturday to look for deer antlers. 8 groups that have visited a packed hospital in Gaza say the situation there is unimaginable. An emergency medical team organized by 3 aid groups spent 2 weeks providing care and doing surgeries at the European Gaza hospital near Khan Yunis. Another hospital in Gaza, Al-Shifa, has been the recent target of Israeli troops. ABC's Matt Gutman says Israel has called its ongoing week-long raid one of the largest and most successful operations of the 6-month war.
The IDF says it detained over 800 men since the surprise raid began early last Monday, claiming 480 of them are Hamas and Islamic Jihad members.
He says Palestinians have called the Israeli operations hellish. The Powerball jackpot is now at $800 million ahead of tonight's drawing. ABC's Derek Dennis says there has not been a big winner since January.
It's now the 6th largest prize in the game's history with a cash value of $384 million. But if that's not enough, Mega Millions is now a Mega Billion-dollar jackpot.
Dennis says the Mega Millions jackpot is $1.1 billion for that drawing tomorrow night. Odds of winning either jackpot are about 300 million to 1. Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some spots. Highs low to upper 60s for Metro LA, the beaches, Inland OC, and the IE. 60s to low 70s in the valleys, mid 50s to around 60 in the high desert. Right now, 61 in Cypress. It is 61 in Brea as well. We're going back to the 57 in Brea.
Stay away if you can from this 57. 57 southbound between Imperial Highway and Yorba Linda Boulevard. Southbound side is completely shut down due to a big rig crash. Northbound 57, as you're approaching there, right at Imperial Highway, has the carpool and the 2 left lanes blocked because of this accident as well. Your northbound side, you got to back up about a mile. Southbound, it is a crawl. It could be hours before they open this up, so avoid this if you can. In Castaic on the 5 southbound between Temple and Highway and Lake Hughes Road, got an accident. The 2 right lanes are going to be blocked. In Elysian Park on the 5 north right at Stadium Way, they're holding lanes right now, clearing a crash over to the shoulder, but it is going to be really slow coming away from the 10. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere, and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
It all began here. Mike Phoebus was a night manager here at the Dixie News some years back, and the rest, as they say in the movies, is history.
There's a long line of them who needed to show off, that like being celebrities. Al Capone, John Gotti, now Phoebus, he had those same inclinations. He wanted to be known. He wanted to be a public figure. He was not shy.
Are you serious about movie making? Do you want to be a movie mogul?
I'm very serious about the movie making. In fact, we moved our facilities from MGM in Hollywood to Atlanta.
It is the money, obviously, that attracts organized crime. Phoebus has managed to insulate himself and others in his organization by setting up paper corporations. Sources tell me he has managed to set up more than 300 of those corporations.
There's no doubt in my mind that they are nervous at best about having to do business with Mike Beavis. I don't have any knowledge as to what happened to Mr. Hannah. He was a personal friend of mine, and I just think it's a terrible tragedy.
Indictment spells out so many charges against you. You think you can beat them all? Oh, yeah. Like Julius Caesar, I've crossed the Rubicon, and I'm ready to do battle.
So Mike Beavis walked out this door to freedom. Some are speculating he may be in Colombia or Costa Rica, countries which before have harbored United States criminals.
I had 25 years of the good life. I try to look at it in just that manner. In other words, if this is all that the Lord wanted me to have, then I accept what I've had, because I had far more than most people did.
Gangster House.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one.
KMI AM 640.
An iHeart radio station.
Crisscrossed in the wrong direction. Found myself in a conversation. On a missed connection. Spinning out at the wrong drugs. Hold my eyes in the right direction. Find myself in a conversation.
Not that I like to wade in the abortion debates, but did you or I or somebody call the mifepristone the morning after pill?
Yeah, I realized that it was not the correct list.
That is, they're different. That is the pill mifepristone that can result in the abortion. The morning after pill is the pill you take the morning after, the Plan B or what have you, to get rid of anything before it takes hold, I guess you could say. I don't really know. I'm not a doctor. This may shock you.
Some of the other stories that we are following, Murrieta police have been asked to stop playing with Legos. The police department had been editing the images onto suspects' pictures after a new law prohibits them from sharing suspect photos and mugshots for non-violent crimes. So they put a picture of somebody up there, but they put a little yellow Lego head in their place. And now Lego heads come with a million different expressions, so it would be funny.
Yeah.
But the Lego group reached out to the Murrieta Police Department to respectfully ask us to refrain from using their intellectual property in our social media content, which of course we understand and will comply with.
I think that is a very creative way to do that.
Yes. Monday's Powerball jackpot tonight, $800 million, and nobody hit on the weekend. And then tomorrow, Mega Millions is up over $1 billion. It's at $1.1 billion. 2:45, we understand, is the time that Shohei Ohtani is expected to speak today. The Dodgers host the Angels once again for yet another Freeway Series game. Still counts as spring training, even though the Dodgers have played a couple of regular season games already. The regular season gets underway in earnest on Thursday.
You love a hot spring soaking tub, don't you?
I do have a funny story about one of them, but not this one.
Oh.
It was on a camping trip.
Was this with Dennis?
No, this was not with Dennis. But there is a hot springs up in the Sequoia National Forest, Miracle Hot Springs, right along the Kern River. And it's about 6 miles downstream from Lake Isabella. This is an interesting hot spring because it's actually man-made. In that, people put rock and mortar tubs together to collect the water that comes out of the hot springs right next to the Kern River. And all it really did was kind of give you a space to sit in for these hot springs. Now, the U.S. Forest Service does not like these things. They've actually come through and demolished the structure several times. But people go back there and just make them again, because there are people who believe in the healing properties of a very mineral-infused sulfur, magnesium, iron, borax hot bath. And then you jump in the Kern River and you wash it away, and then you jump back in the hot tub, and then you jump in the Kern River. The problem is they've seen it get a little gamey recently, these Magic Miracle Hot Springs.
Yeah, a lot of tourists have been showing up, and a lot of the crowds have brought trouble. Some trashed the area, camped illegally, partied with drugs. Others went into the tubs nude, making fellow soakers uncomfortable. There were some nefarious activities reported, including sexual assaults, car break-ins.
One woman comes from Bakersfield on the weekends, 28 years old. She and a group of her girlfriends, who were topless at the time, said that they noticed a group of young men began to circle like sharks. As the women attempted to make an exit, she slipped on one of the rocks. One of the men grabbed her arm to help her, allegedly, but then as she thanked him for steadying her, she felt him grope her buttocks.
She pulled a knife on him and took off with her friends.
Yeah.
But here's a fun thing. I know, ladies, that you think that you should be able to release the tatas in nature with your girlfriends. I've never felt the need to do so, but if that's a thing for you, Andrea,
You choose more urban environments is what when.
No, I would just say do it in your backyard or something. You don't go out in public, release the tatas around a bunch of strange men and expect not to be groped. Unless it's Europe.
In October of 22, authorities found a body at the site of the Miracle Hot Springs and blood in these soaking tubs. They figured out this guy, 54-year-old guy out of Torrance, died from what they believe was acute methamphetamine toxicity. So the U.S. Forest Service comes through and they start removing sections of the tubs to drain the blood. They said that he probably hit his head as he fell or something like that.
I would not make a return to the hot springs.
And they said that they were determined to be structurally unsafe, so they completely removed the tubs at the time. The removal infuriated the lovers of the hot springs, but early the following year, park officials said they were able to rebuild some basic tubs with the natural materials like sand and river rocks. They didn't want to bring it in bricks and mortar, etc. So there were several winter storms that brought trouble along the Kern River in 23. It covered the area in water. The water levels eventually dropped, so the hot springs were exposed again. And then people returned with bags of concrete and built sturdier tubs. And then February 17th, not too long ago, a second body was found in one of the reconstructed tubs. Cause of death yet to be determined, but it was a 57-year-old man, they believe, from nearby Lake Isabella. So closure has been ordered once again, and people are warning if you go out there, you will be ticketed. You are not allowed to go to Miracle Hot Springs anymore.
The bird watching community has been thrown into chaos.
Oh, wait a minute. So I was camping up near Big Sur.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine was training for a marathon. And he wanted to go for a run in the mountains that weekend. So gets up early Saturday. The rest of us go golfing. He's going for a long run. Like he said 10, 12 miles or something like that. Well, he should have been back when we got back from the golf trip. And he wasn't. A couple hours go by. He's still not back. Sun is going to set about an hour from now. And we're all starting to get worried that he's not back. So we contacted the ranger at the front and said, hey, our friend took off on these fire trails, and he's not back yet. So he's like, well, if he's not back in about a half an hour, let me know, and we'll start the process. So we're all freaked out. He comes rolling into the campsite, head to toe, covered in dirt. I mean, it looked like he'd been rolling in dirt. Big old grin on his face. He was out and found one of these hot springs out in the middle of nowhere in Big Sur.
Topless girls.
Found a bunch of topless girls.
Yeah.
And everybody is.
So
he's like, he said it was about halfway through the trip, so he just wanted to stop and, relax for a little while, kick them shoes off, soak them doggies.
There are two kinds of people in the world. People who would adhere to a schedule to make sure you were not worried, and people who are just like, la, la, la.
Well, he said he did time it so he'd be back before sunset. But it's funny because we were already going to call his wife. I mean, we were moments away from calling his wife and across country and saying, hey, just so you know, we're going to have to call out the dogs because we can't find Kevin.
And then you'd have to call her back and be like, good thing is Kevin is alive. Bad thing is he was sidetracked by tatas. Gary and Shannon will continue. Deborah Mark is in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
3 homes in the Hollywood Hills have been red tagged because the hillside behind them could come down. Another storm last weekend. So the hillsides. A woman who fell asleep in a trash bin in Buena Park has survived being dumped into a garbage truck. The woman was rescued Friday morning, and the Dodger Shohei Ohtani is expected to speak about the gambling scandal that led to his interpreter being fired. Around 2:45 this afternoon, KFI will carry that live. We're going to check your drive on the 5 next.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Look how beautiful it is out there. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring.
Call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and this is lasting joint pain relief. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime.
QC Kinetics is changing lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
This is the same kind of treatment that pro athletes have been doing for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you.
You can walk and run and climb stairs, play golf, move again pain-free. No pain pills, no risky surgery. It's an all-natural solution.
In fact, you would be one of tens of thousands of QC Kinetics already satisfied patients who have been able to reclaim their mobility. So take action now and live your best life this spring and summer.
It's great use of your tax refund, by the way. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. They're in Glendale, Orange, Mission Viejo, and Costa Mesa.
213-997-PAIN. That's 213-997-PAIN. QC Kinetics, 213-997-PAIN.
Southline weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some areas, high 60s to low 70s. This report is brought to you by LifeSource Water Systems. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. We're going to a crash on the 5 in Castaic.
It's on the 5 southbound between Temple and Highway and Lake Hughes Road. Got a crash involving a semi, and the 2 right lanes are still blocked. It is a crawl from the Castaic brake check. Also, stay away from the 57 in Brea. This isn't going to clear up anytime soon. 57 southbound between Imperial Highway and Yorba Linda Boulevard. The southbound lanes are completely shut down due to a big rig wreck. And on the flip side, 57 northbound before Imperial Highway, the carpool and the 2 left lanes are blocked because of it. And in Victorville, 15 southbound after Bear Valley Road, got a crash with an overturned big rig, and the 3rd lane from your left is blocked there. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
This week's Marketers Report, Chris Brand, Chief Marketing Officer at Chipotle Mexican Grill, weighs in on the power of audio, specifically audio influencers.
Audio has been a key component for us. Our consumer is omnichannel, so we need to be omnichannel. We've used audio to reinforce what we're showing on TV, what we're showing in other digital channels. When your priority is driving reach, boy, everybody seems to listen to the radio. I think using the audio influencers has been a huge component for us. Working with iHeart, we were able to really tease out the audio influencers in key markets that were authentic Chipotle fans. And because it's authentic and because they're seen as trusted friends by the customers and the listeners, it's really been an effective strategy.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all, from national to local. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company, iHeartMedia is your access company. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
So, I'm the type of guy who tends to forget things. A lot. My keys are always missing, I'm not great with names, and my signature catchphrase is, I know it's around here somewhere. That's why I get my haircut at Great Clips. Their skilled, friendly stylists save my haircut details and clip notes. So, every time I need a cut, I can get the look I want without having to remember a thing. Huh. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, download the app today. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Hey there, business followers and entrepreneurs. Ready to make your financial dreams come true? Well, get ready to score big with SwishFunding.com, the slam dunk solution for all your business funding needs. Just like that satisfying swish when the ball goes in, SwishFunding.com guarantees you a seamless funding experience. Working capital, expanding your business, upgrading your equipment, or even covering payroll. If you have at least $25,000 in monthly revenue and been in business for at least 1 year, qualifying is easier than a layup. At Swish Funding, we fund up to $5 million in 24 hours. SwishFunding.com's team will guide you every step of the way. No more banking red tape, just quick, decisive action to get you back in the game. Head over to SwishFunding.com and slam dunk your financial goals today. Remember, it's not just a shot in the dark, it's a surefire swish. Go to SwishFunding.com. That's SWISH Funding.com. SwishFunding.com.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now, like Lost 80s. Just search Lost 80s and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
She had to use her debit card for a buck.
Look, there are a lot of people around the world who would love to have that as their main problem. Ukraine, Gaza, Israel, Russia.
The Tim Connolly Jr. Show.
The biggest problem is, I had to use my debit card for the extra $1 at McDonald's.
Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Second guessing, so success is an empty lie. So what's the point if that's our purpose and our back behind? Carrying my stress and probably guessing that
I read this article in The Athletic over the weekend because, again, I had a vacuum to fill, and I filled it with Buying Beverly Hills and Christian movies about people on the spectrum who run marathons, and an article in The Athletic with the high ass factor, the high butt factor. And it's something that coaches look for in athletes. If they've got a nice butt, it's like it shows that they're a powerhouse, right? That's where you get your power from. And Bill Belichick would only have defensive linemen with big asses because in his mind, and a lot of coaches believe the same thing, you have big butt, you have a lot of power. It's like hitters, when they tell you to put your ass into it.
Sure. Okay.
When you're at the plate.
This reminds me of something else I did because I had time to waste over it.
Tell me more.
There's a YouTube channel called There, I Ruined It.
Okay.
And somebody put together Simon and Garfunkel singing a Sir Mix-a-Lot classic.
I like big butts, I cannot lie.
You and I really need to get to work.
When a girl walks in with a really big waist,
great.
And the round thing in your face,
it's wonderful.
You get sprung, cause you notice that butt was stained. You pull up tight, deep in the jeans she's wearing.
That's great. My husband fixed a dishwasher this weekend.
I knew he could.
He went on the YouTube.
I knew he could.
Ordered the parts, and he fixed that thing.
Was it a rack problem? The slides? What was the problem?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't ask any follow-up questions?
I pretended to listen when he showed me what he did. All right. Bird watching. It's very important. If you've seen, I think it's called, what is it? The Big Number. The Big Year is the movie. Great movie to explain bird watching and what bird watchers look to do, and it's to see as many bird species as possible. Late last year, a guy named Peter was about to log his 10,000th bird species seen in the wild, and then Jason Mann showed up.
Who? Jason who?
Jason Mann. A previously unknown competitor by the name of Jason Mann flew in out of nowhere to snatch the record out from under 70-year-old Peter.
Like a raptor.
Peter was just approaching the finish line for his record 10,000 birds. But the mystery birder, Jason, seemed to have uploaded a backlog of thousands of species he had seen over several decades to now defunct birding site surfbirds.com.
Are you a member?
Yeah.
No, listing more than 9,000 birds over the course of a few months. Everyone was surprised. Who is this guy? What is he doing? 2 people break 10,000 species and on the same day? Can it be?
Okay. So
I think I have probably about 4 or 5 birding apps on my phone.
Peter, the older guy, says on the internet you can post anything you want. And he's not really the one who's most upset about what's going on, this Jason Mann character. It's other people in the birding community who believe that Peter Kastner is the guy who is achieving something miraculous here.
There's a broad range of intensity, shall we say, in the birdwatching world. Casual hobbyists are known as bird watchers, while seeking to log species in a more competitive manner is known as birding. Those who log large numbers of species and rare sightings call themselves listers. And then people like Peter, who seek to break world records, are known as big listers. A lot of it's an honor system.
Well, there's no centralized authority, I guess you could say. I mean, they talk about John James Audubon and his announcement back in the 19th century that he wanted to list all birds throughout North America with physical drawings. Now think about that compared to what Peter and Jason can do now with digital cameras and artificial intelligence. And, I mean, the idea that you'd find 10,000 different bird species alone seemed, for a lot of these people, impossible. And that one person would be able to do it in their lifetime seemed at least very improbable.
Well, Peter, who lives in a suburb of Baltimore, the 70-year-old Peter, has been watching birds as long as he can remember. Joined his older brother birding as early as the age of 4. He is a career diplomat. He took advantage of his travels around the world to see as many species as possible. Set a record in 1986 for being the first person to observe an example of every bird family in the wild. Built up a reputation in the birding community. In 2018, he realized he had surpassed 9,000. Began pursuing the $10,000 or 10,000 bird milestone. And he was highlighted in an article in Outside magazine. He said that he put a target on his back when that was published. And then he said, little did I know Jason Mann would be aiming for it.
Wow. He said he quietly had to move up a planned trip to Taiwan where he was going to see a handful of final species to get him to that 10,000 level. But this other guy, Jason Mann, was adding nearly a dozen new species each day.
It's a race. If you see The Big Year, it's a great movie. I've seen it a number of times, but it really breaks down the competitiveness of bird watching.
Jason Mann claims to have seen his 10,000 species in Colombia, a chestnut-bellied flower piercer, just hours before Kastner on the same day.
That sounds suspicious.
Sounds very suspicious.
What you gonna do with all that junk? All that junk inside that trunk. I'ma get you drunk. Get you all drunk.
We'll talk trending when we come back to Gary and Shannon.
What you gonna do with all that ass inside them jeans? Gonna make you scream. My
Common Sense left California a long time ago. We're bringing it back.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Fatal shooting in a sheriff's station on Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A teenage girl has fatally shot herself with a deputy's gun in the city of Industry.
The girl knocked on a sheriff's station lobby door before allegedly lunging for the gun of one of the deputies who answered. LA County Sheriff's Lieutenant Art Spencer says deputies struggled with the girl who ended up shooting herself.
The deputies are okay. It's an unfortunate situation for everyone involved.
Deputies say they responded to the girl's home before the shooting last night on reports she was having a mental health crisis. The The girl had left before deputies arrived. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Investigators are asking the public to help locate a man who was kidnapped in Midway City. OC Sheriff Sergeant Matthew Parrish says a woman called to report that a masked man assaulted them, then grabbed Tony Lamb from in front of his home.
The previous night on March 14th, he had spent some time at a couple of different restaurants. One was the LB Restaurant and Lounge in Westminster, and the other one was the 171 Sky Restaurant in Garden Grove.
Parrish says 2 men were charged last week with felony aggravated kidnapping, but neither will say where Lamb is. One of the men was convicted of murder in 2000. Orange County has changed how 911 calls are handled.
Now, 911 calls can be diverted to the behavioral health department.
OC Healthcare Agency Director Dr. Veronica Kelly says 911 calls are now screened as part of a partnership with the OC Sheriff's Department.
There are just a few questions that the dispatcher will ask. Is the subject in immediate danger to themselves or others? Are they committing a crime or creating a safety hazard?
Kelly says the screening process, which started this month, frees up police and fire for their respective emergencies while sending someone in crisis the targeted help they need. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
The LA School District Superintendent is asking for more adult mentors to support students.
Superintendent Alberto Carvalho updated the LA City Council on what he called successes and challenges. Carvalho said last week the LA School District's math scores are going up, but reading scores are still struggling. The superintendent said chronic absence remains a problem. He also asked for more adults in LA to get involved to serve as mentors for the district students.
We have identified 27,000 kids in our school system that require that additional support.
Carvalho asked City Council to consider asking the city workforce to become involved. Michael Monks, KFI News.
A federal judge in New York has set a trial date for the hush money case against former President Trump. Jury selection starts April 15th. Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, says the decision is completely unfair.
We very much believe that starting this trial in April, or even starting this trial at any point before the election, is completely unfair to President Trump.
The hush money case stems from a payment made to porn actress Stormy Daniels during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. The judge told Trump's lawyers they should have acted sooner if they believed they did not have all the records they felt they were entitled to.
That's surprising and unfortunate.
Israel's prime minister has canceled a delegation visit to D.C. following the U.S. abstaining from voting in a UN Security Council resolution. The resolution was approved 14-0 by the 15-member council.
The reason we didn't veto it is because there are also things in that resolution that were consistent with our long-term position. Most importantly, that there should be a ceasefire and that there should be a release of hostages.
The State Department's Matthew Miller says the U.S. planned on introducing alternatives to Israel's military operations in Rafah. The U.S. says it's ready to present Israel with plans to defeat Hamas without causing civilian harm. And NASA says it needs your help to research the upcoming solar eclipse April 8th.
The Sun Sketcher app will use data from people's smartphones to assist researchers in better understanding the sun's actual shape. NASA says people can download the Sun Sketcher app, and then during the eclipse, people just have to angle their phone up to capture the event on video. The app will then do all the work. NASA says once all those videos are collected, the sun's size and shape can be calculated to within a few kilometers. An accuracy, scientists say, that is far better than currently known. Steve Greger, KFI News.
The KFI financial update is sponsored by Quantum ePay. The Dow is down 144, S&P 500 down 7, NASDAQ up 5.
Brought to you by Quantum ePay. Merchants who make the switch to Quantum ePay save an average of 53% on payment processing. Call today to see how much you can save. Just dial #250 on your cell and say keyword Quantum.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some spots, highs low to upper 60s for Metro LA, the beaches at Mendoza and the IE, 60s to low 70s in the valleys, mid 50s to around 60 for the high desert. Right now 60 in Tustin, 56 in Laguna Beach, 57 in Fontana, and a 65 in Van Nuys. Back we go to the 57 in Brea.
57 southbound between Imperial Highway and Yorba Linda Boulevard is completely shut down due to an accident with a big rig, and it's going to be this way into the afternoon, so avoid this if you can. It is completely shut down. 57 southbound at Imperial Highway down to Yorba Boulevard. It is stacked up now from Diamond Bar Boulevard. If you're on the 57 northbound, right at Imperial Highway, they're still working on that wreck on that side as well. The carpool and the two left lanes are blocked. You got to back up of about a mile. It is going to be stopped from Chapman Avenue there. In Pasadena, 210 eastbound before you get to Lake Avenue, got a stall blocking the carpool lane. Still trouble in Castaic on the 5 southbound between Temple and Highway and Lake Hughes Road. That accident is blocking the 2 right lanes. Heads up in Anaheim, 91 eastbound before Euclid Street, got a large metal beam reported in the second lane from your left. Also Mission Viejo, 5 southbound before Oso Parkway. A stall is in the middle lane. And it's slow in Victorville. Another incident with a semi, 15 southbound after Bear Valley Road. An overturned semi has that far right lane blocked. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
Need a brain boost? Try Neuromag Magnesium L-threonate from Life Extension. Magnesium plays an important role in healthy memory and cognitive function, but not all magnesium supplements are easy for your brain to absorb. Neuromag is formulated with an ultra-absorbable form of magnesium, making it a brilliant choice to provide the maximum benefits for your brain health. So, boost your brain performance, memory, and attention with Neuromag today.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is a radio ad for Dupixent, Dupilumab, a prescription medicine for people 6 months and up with moderate to severe eczema that is not well controlled with topical prescription therapies. But since this is radio, you can't see the effects of Dupixent. You can't see how it helps you stay ahead of your eczema, or how it helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that could be causing eczema. You can't see how it helps heal your skin from within. But you can see how Dupixent can help you have clearer skin and less itch. Individual results may vary. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Get help right away if you have wheezing, trouble breathing, or swelling of your face, lips, mouth, tongue, and throat. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain, vision changes, or blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. See for yourself. Ask your eczema specialist about Dupixent. Visit Dupixent.com or call 1-844-DUPIXENT.
Gary Shannon, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Hopefully we'll find out more information about what exactly led to this 17-year-old girl who had apparently committed suicide in an LA County Sheriff's Station over the weekend. She was knocking on the front door at that station in the city of Industry last night. Deputies answered the door. She was able to jump into the lobby, was able to reach for one of the deputies' holstered firearms and took possession of it. She caused a commotion. She made noise. She struggled with the deputies and then eventually suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound, was the way the sheriff's department said it. Said it may have stemmed from a family disturbance nearby, but we haven't gotten a whole lot of details about what that might have been.
A Dodger star, Shohei Ohtani, is set to address the media today for the first time since allegations of illegal gambling and theft involving his former interpreter and friend came to light. Major League Baseball says it has started a formal investigation into the accusations. He's accused, the interpreter is, of receiving more than $4.5 million to pay off gambling debts made with an illegal bookie. It was an investigation into that illegal bookie that uncovered Ohtani's names in the books.
Speaking of the final few days of spring training, the Dodgers will host the Angels again tonight at Dodger Stadium, 6 o'clock, and then the regular season gets underway outside, of course, of the Korea games that were played between the Dodgers and Padres. The rest of the regular season gets underway on Thursday.
What else is going on?
Time for What's Happening.
Well, they got the four guys, they say, killed 133 people over the weekend on that attack in the suburban Moscow concert hall. Putin says authorities have gotten the four people that carried this thing out, that they are radical Islamists. They appeared in court, tortured, signs that they had been tortured. One guy's ear was cut off. There was a report that they made him eat his ear that they cut off. Another guy may have gotten electrocuted in the genitals. He had a visible catheter there. Others were saying that they cut off part of his genitals. It was really Game of Thrones stuff going on.
The images from the actual complex where the theater was that it took place are pretty amazing because they said 137 people were killed, more than 180 injured. The death toll could go up because the fires that were set in the theater that night, Friday night, basically caused a lot of the building itself to collapse. So they have, over the course of the last couple of days, been trying to go through there and see if they could find any other bodies, etc. The United States has sanctioned some Chinese-based hackers for targeting U.S. critical infrastructure. This seems to be a pretty common theme. Like once a week for the last 5 or 6 weeks, we've done some story about Chinese-based hackers cracking into American infrastructure.
Last week it was water infrastructure.
Yes. In this case, the U.S. and the U.K. sanctioned representatives of Wuhan Science and Technology Company, which is based in Wuhan, of course. They said it was a front company that the Treasury Department alleges has served as a cover for multiple malicious cyber operations. They refer to it as Wuhan XRZ, which I should have said in the first place because it's easy.
A shakeup at Boeing. Dave Calhoun will be stepping down as CEO at the end of the year. They're still calling that door blowing off that Alaska Airlines flight an accident. He says...
Although, you did hear that they're telling, the FBI has been interviewing passengers who said that this is being investigated as a crime.
Attorneys have been, that's what I mentioned earlier, attorneys have been digging around telling people you may have been the victim of a crime because they want to get their pockets fattened up.
Here's what Dave Calhoun said about why he's not leaving, today.
Let's not avoid what happened with Alaska Air. Let's not avoid the call for action. Let's not avoid the changes that we have to make in our factory. Let's not avoid the need to slow down a bit and let the supply chain catch up. We got to get at that, just like we got at the rest. And we will get through that. We will get through that. And I've committed myself to the board to do exactly that.
I don't remember the last time a CEO at Boeing stepped down voluntarily. I mean, without some sort of controversy surrounding him, because he's filling in for Dennis Muhlenberg, or took over the company in 2019 from Dennis Muhlenberg. Dennis Muhlenberg was ousted in December of that year by the board.
TikTok bill faces uncertain fate. Legislation has stalled. Children are threatening the lives of Congress members because they don't want their TikTok taken away.
Again, just another sad symptom of the problem that we created.
Well, it's heroin that we gave these kids, and now we're trying to yank it away.
One young voice left a message for North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis. Okay, listen, if you ban TikTok, I will find you and shoot you. I'll shoot you and find you and cut you into pieces.
I'm sorry.
Another one threatened to kill Tillis and then take his own life.
Yeah. Well, at least they're involved in government again.
Is that what you
It's like civics.
I suppose. Like a civics lesson.
Okay, coming up next.
Swamp Light. A couple of quick, funny political stories that I thought would be interesting.
I can't wait. I cannot.
Show me that position 2 thing that you were talking about.
Second position. Yeah, we need to work on your flexibility and your turnout.
Yeah, my turnout was fine.
You need to turn out from the hip.
Where did I turn out from?
You're turning out from your ankles and your feet.
Deborah Mark turned out live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
I did?
I guess.
Okay. A man shot while driving through the Hyde Park area of LA is in critical condition. That shooting happened after 10 last night while the car was going
Word up, Bobby, you Tim. I'm kicking ass, taking names. How you doing, baby?
Florence Avenue. A woman in the car told cops she heard gunshots, then realized the man in the car was hurt. She took him to a hospital. California has the highest unemployment rate in the country. The State Department Development
How did that go?
Department says the rate reached 5.3% last month. California lost 2.7 million jobs at the start of the pandemic. It has since added more than 3 million jobs. Truth Social will start trading on NASDAQ tomorrow. Former President Trump will owe most of the company, which is nearly 79 million shares.
What do you usually shoot?
The value of his stake could be nearly $3 billion. We're going to go to the 15 next. Pulled into work in GMC Canyon, and there was a sales guy parked next to me. He goes, "How do you like the canyon?" And I'm like, "You shouldn't have asked me that, because then I just yapped his ear off all the way up to the elevators, through the elevators to the floor." Dorset Buick GMC in Pasadena right now has amazing deals on the table.
And this is in.
As always, the KFI
This
family
is in
gets the
Switzerland,
best
right?
hookup. For March, you can get a 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro Ground
This is in
Edition,
Switzerland?
$427 plus tax. Give Ted a call. He'll give you all the details.
Go ahead, you were saying something?
It's right off the 210 in Pasadena, right there in Colorado. Thorson Buick GMC. Going to a crash on 15 in Victorville.
Yeah.
This is
So,
on 15 southbound, right after Valley Road.
I spoke with him last night, and he wants to have more light on his show this week, and his show's huge. It has 170,000 listeners to it right now.
Still trouble in Brea. Avoid this if you can. Stay away from
I agree. I think it could be really big for the community.
This is going to be there well into the afternoon. 57 southbound.
Great question. I've been trying to talk to this guy for like a year. He might be the biggest person on Twitter Spaces. Arguably he or Mario Noahfall or one of those two. I mean, Mario Noahfall, or like Elon Musk, obviously. Mario Noahfall has some big events, but he doesn't have an everyday space. David does, and David's space is huge. He has, so his normal space has like hundreds of people, and it's impossible for me to ever talk, especially when I go on there with my rabbi accounts. He never calls on because he thinks I'm a troll or whatever. But all my rabbi accounts have been banned. So the only accounts that I have, and that's 2,100 accounts, 2,100 accounts. So the only accounts that I have are like accounts that I made for other reasons. Like I made a Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu one that was just in Twitter Spaces all the time. Yeah, it created some Twitter Space and it was a video Twitter Space. That one had like 100 followers. So it looked like a legitimate account. And so I went into one of his spaces that he was holding last night that didn't have a ton of people. I saw he had the biggest space that was available to me on Twitter, but it didn't have that many people. It had like 200 people in it. And so he's like, "Man, there's a chance that I might be able to speak to this guy for a few reasons. One, it's a smaller space for this guy. Two, I personally am not my normal avatar. So that might mean that I may be able to speak with him kind of undercover. And the name of the space was Meme Coins, What Are You Buying? Or something like that. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So he talked a lot. And he talked for like 30 minutes. He's like, I'm gonna get to the request, blah 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 blah. He talks to a couple of his friends and then he calls on me. And I'm like, I don't even tell him I'm Rabbi Rothschild. I just say, I want to make you aware that we have a really great community, that our Deb was just in karate combat against BitBoy. We've been streaming our coin for now 10 months, every single day, 24/7, and we have more data on the coin than any other coin, and it's an exceptionally exciting community to be a part of, which to be a part. And he said, you know what? I keep hearing about this coin. I keep seeing it everywhere. And now you just told me about it. I want to have more light, you said his name was? And I said, yeah. But I want to have more light on my morning show this week. And I said, I will make that happen. I will get that arranged. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Like after that, I didn't want to screw it up. I was like, great. That's all I want. I was able to talk to you. Now, the one thing I would have loved to do is be like, oh, and I'm Rabbi Rothschild, but I already said you're streaming. That's fine. He knows there's a lot of data on this project. That's great. I don't need to get into all of that. We need to become his friend. So after that, I said, thank you so much. I dropped down to listener. And then some other people came up and spoke, and they were like, yeah, that's a really great project. They do a whole lot for the developing world and all the things that we do. And so they knew about it, and he's like, great. Well, hopefully we'll be talking to their dev this week on my show. And so immediately thereafter, I got into the TG, and I started spamming more like, hey, dude, you need to, he wants you to come on the show. And then there were other people who were in there who heard me talking about it. So, because it was, I had 200 people in there, and any space that has 200 people on Telegram or on Twitter, chances are you're going to get one or two photos in there, because we're a pretty big community, or at least people who are like invested in Harry Potter of almost on a community. So there were some people who came into the Telegram like, oh my God, good job. That's amazing. That's the biggest get on Twitter, on DeFi Twitter, basically. So then I didn't get a chance to talk to him more like yesterday, but I talked to him today, and I asked him, will you please send him a DM? And he said he would. So that's solid. If we get that, that's going to be huge for the coin. I was looking just randomly on Twitter how many people David Goldstein gets, and it wasn't like I had to go back to one of his old videos. No, currently he was online. He had 170,000 people watching him on a video. Like, it was impressive. It's like, oh my God, we got more light on this? This is going to be huge. I agree.
Rescheduled the trial because of last-minute document that caused a postponement of the original date. The judge bristled at what he suggested were baseless defense claims of prosecutorial misconduct. It was not persuaded by the arguments from Trump's team that prosecutors
hopefully that happens this week. I mean, David was very adamant. I want to have him on the show this week. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have him on the show sometime or whatever. It was like, no, this week, I'll get that done. All you had to do was give us the opportunity, and I will annoy Morelight if he even doesn't want to do it, that this is such a good opportunity, but he knows who he is. Basically, everyone on crypto or on Twitter Spaces knows who this guy is. There are a couple of like regular hosts who get all the people to come to their events, basically, or at least over time. He's one of them. Mario Narwhal is one of them. There are a couple others who have, and these are people who have like other media operations. Goldstein has his own media company. So, I mean, we can be really featured on some cool things with this. So that's super exciting. I'm glad you were able to see all that.
But does not set it as a condition for ceasefire. The resolution was approved 14-0 by this 15-member council. Again, the U.S. decided not to vote and not to use its veto power.
Tell me about swamp light.
Okay, so these are the funnier stories that I thought they
probably
didn't even qualify for some
now,
watch, but
I got something else going.
President Biden signed that $1.2 trillion
Let me see if I can show you this. It's not done yet, but I'm always tinkering with things. Like I've always got little projects going, and I'll show you this one. All right, so okay, live stream started. Okay, I'm gonna take a look. I'm in a bunch of different colors.
How does this work? People just tuck these things in. Page 96, subsection A.
Advocates criticize the provision of the bill
I'm gonna send you
Department facilities from displaying any flag
the link.
other than the U.S. flag.
to
They argued that the
some.
restriction was drafted with the
Let's see,
intent
how
of
this is
removing
the
pride
easiest way
flags
for
from
me to do
government
this.
buildings. They're very similar to
Basically,
the
I'm making it so that I'm gonna have 10 Telegram channels, each one that has a different camera. Now, I know the ideal thing would be like, well, why don't you just have one Telegram channel that has all the cameras? But the way Telegram works with its live streaming features, I don't have that ability. And I know you would say, well, why don't you just live stream into this channel? And the thing is, by live stream into a channel, other people can't talk in it. So I want other people to be able to talk. So what I'm gonna do is send you these links, and they're basically like permanent links. Basically, whenever I'm streaming, you can go to these links and check out a different view. And I'm not saying you're gonna be the person who, well, yeah, that's what I want to do. But there are some people out there who either I'm in their Telegram and the camera goes down, or because the app or whatever crashes, something happens and they want to be able to make sure something didn't happen. I don't know. People all the time are like, "Hey, I was worried about you. What's going on?" So I'm gonna send you the link, and you can see it's really seamless. It's a different layout. Bobby, were you the person telling me that you were like?
I do not know.
It was someone from Europe, and I thought it might have been you, but if I'm mistaken, apologies in advance. You had said that you had a channel and you were live streaming in that channel from your computer using an RTMP. That was nice. Oh yeah, you did it doing OBS. Yeah, okay, that's good. So you did it using OBS. Were you able to communicate with other people in that Telegram at the time, or was it just you?
Anybody else? He said, this isn't about me, literally anybody else, more so as it is an idea. We can do better out of 300 million people for president.
This is like when I opened up the Hotmail account, your new reporter.
Well, wait, what I'm trying to say is,
trying to get a job out of college.
were there other people who had their cameras on as well?
Aren't you cute?
You went to a little bit more trouble than you did just signing up for a Hotmail account.
Were there other people who had their cameras on in the room as well? Or was it just you?
Anybody else? The Federal Election Commission records show that he has, as literally anybody else, filed with the commission.
Okay, so right now I have 3 of the cameras going, which I think is pretty impressive. So just one moment, and I'm gonna send you the link.
Together, let's send the message to Washington to say you will represent or be replaced.
And that would be baller. It would be really baller if you could check them out and make sure they work on yours. They work on mine, but that doesn't always mean that it works. Alright, so I'm gonna find you, Bobby. I found you. I'm sending you direct message. Can you join those Telegrams? You don't have to do human verify or anything. You can just join and just make sure that it's live streaming camera there.
Towards that 16 restaurant, 16
Absolutely, if you did.
round, and vote. You can vote through tomorrow. We'll do the next round starting tomorrow. So let us know who is your favorite breakfast burrito based on the 16 that we have available. You can also do it online, kfiam640.com/breakfast burrito.
You always tuck these in here to Mixtape Monday. These news items with Young Cook. Like, he's in the news enough, you don't have to force it every week. I know you love his music, and so does everybody else, but it's like, really? Again? It's like, Young Cook ate a sandwich yesterday. Let's talk about it in Mixtape Monday. You don't know what I'm talking about? Okay. Also, Spice Girls reunion news.
Is that me too? Did I do that?
No, that one's for me.
Okay, great. Gary and Shannon will continue. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Boeing CEO and 2 other senior executives are stepping down because of all the safety issues with the company's planes.
Could you see it, Bobby?
Seen ongoing issues since January when a door panel blew out on a Boeing 737 MAX plane flown by Alaska Airlines. CEO Dave
Oh, cool. So that would be really neat. I mean, not everybody cares, but as the stream gets bigger, it's more opportunities to be able to see me, and they work and they're really good. I'm surprised at how clear Telegram is. Now, Telegram isn't perfect though. So some of their software has features that they offer. They say if you're an admin of a channel, you can stream in that channel. That is not true. I'm sorry, you can stream using their RTMP feature. That is not true. Only if you're a creator. And I looked at all the documentation on this issue, and apparently it's like enterprise-wide. So they advertise if you're an admin or a creator of a channel, you can stream just like I'm streaming in it, but that's not true. You have to be the creator of the channel. Because, and here's the other thing. Then I have a friend of mine who has a pretty big channel, and I was like, hey, can I stream? I already streamed it. I'm actually streaming in there on the phone right next to you, the one from which I'm speaking to you. He's like, yeah, you can stream in there with this other feature. I was like, oh, great. And then when I tried to, he didn't even get those features offered, and he has a PC just like anybody else does. So basically, the software was varying from device to device. So we know exactly what Telegram is doing, but they have some really nice features and some features that could use some work. So I really appreciate probably the feedback that you were able to give me on this stuff. Thank you.
Has 5 bedrooms, 6.5 bathrooms, a curved staircase, multiple black marble fireplaces. The listing is just 2 weeks old and already has more than 8,900 views on Zillow. The site says it's likely to sell faster than 82% of other homes for sale nearby, proving there really is no place like home. We're going to go back to the 57.
If you're wondering where Rabbi go, I'm literally right here, but you can't see. I'm just going to be out of frame just for a second. Not a second, but for a little bit, because I'm working on another computer. But I'm here. So, are you a good shooter? Meaning, like, are you accurate?
We called American Vision Windows. You've been hearing about Billy.
Do you think you would be able to shoot me if I were running across the field at 50 meters away?
They created their own company to give all of us.
You'd be able to get me with a handgun?
They are built around.
No way, you're really good.
Home improvement experts. They're also money-saving experts.
Oh wow, so that's like you've been training for me.
All American Vision Windows are custom made for your needs and the style of your home.
With a pistol. Amazing. Okay, so
American Vision Windows will
when you
get free expert installation. For all offers, call or see the website for details on approved credit.
Okay, so when you train on a target that's like a target with like circles around it, or is it like a human? Okay. And so basically, with that, if I were just, we won't even say moving, just stable. And you're shooting at that at 50 meters, and I give you, let's say, 10 bullets. Of the 10 bullets, how many are going to hit the target? I'm not saying the bullseye. I'm just saying the target. Like, will all 10 of them? Or 5 of 10? What are we looking at? Yeah, no, let's say I'm stable, just dead still. Okay, so all of them will. And will most of them be very close to the bullseye? Okay.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Have you ever read this is another topic, but it's kind of a creepy. It's creepy, but it's always fascinated me. There's this short story called The Most Dangerous Game. It's about human hunting. Have you ever heard about this book? Alright, so there was a Gilligan's Island, a television show in the United States. Have you ever heard of Gilligan's Island? Okay, so it's like a classic TV show, like in the 1960s, in the United States. All right, so the short story goes like this, something like this. It's been like 20 years since I've read this book, but basically there is somehow there's like a shipwreck, and the people who are in the shipwreck make it to this what they think is a deserted island. And when they get on the deserted island, they start searching it, and they end up finding this huge mansion, like a very, for the time, modern mansion. So they know it's made by like a Western person, not an islander. And they end up sneaking inside and find out that this person is like a big game hunter. And I'm gonna slaughter it basically if I don't say it correctly. So just one moment. And I also want, it's like a classic piece of
social casino style games to choose from. With new games released each week, you can play for free anytime, anywhere, and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Find your iHeartRadio everywhere. There are hundreds of ways to experience iHeartRadio at home and on the go, beyond the iPhone and Android app and at
the classic horror genre,
Here's another way
and the
to
first
connect
survival
to
of
iHeartRadio.
ever made.
Xfinity customers.
It was out in
iHeartRadio is available free
1932.
on Xfinity X1
There's a
or
movie,
on
but it's
Xfinity
a
Flex.
short
The easiest way
story
to access iHeartRadio, just press and hold the
in
microphone button on your
1924.
Xfinity remote and say
Let's see
iHeartRadio.
here.
Then you'll be taken directly to the iHeartRadio app to listen to all your favorite music, radio stations.
Okay, so he washes up on shore of a private island after a boating accident meets its owner, General Zora. The general is a shitty but polite character who introduces himself as a fellow hunter and claims to be after the titular and most dangerous game. After a lot of dialogue, it finally is revealed that he's actually hunting human beings, and Rainsford gets picked to be the next prey. The hunt itself takes only a few pages, during which Rainsford outsmarts his pursuers, confronts her off, and then I won't say what happens, but it's a relatively famous story, especially a short story from the 20s, and has had several acknowledged and unacknowledged adaptations, although many focus more on the hunt and less on the mystery. This means the modern reader probably knows what it's going, what it's about before reading it, or can guess it fairly easily. This is the bulk of the story where this is here. So basically, so how did we get on the topic? Well, I was like, you think you'd be able to shoot me? That's the, I mean, I guess if you're hunting, that's how it would be. Do you ever shoot shotguns, Bobby? Oh, no way. Why not? Is it legal in Switzerland? Oh, wow. So people have shotguns in their houses?
He will be speaking today, addressing the controversy surrounding his
Excellent.
interpreter.
Bobby, when shit hits the fan, I'm gonna come meet with you. So you better teach me all the ways, okay? I'm gonna live in a bunker in Switzerland, and we're gonna watch the whole world crumble. Word, man. We're gonna be live on 10 different streams at once. That'll be beautiful. That's amazing. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right. I have, so believe it or not, I'm working on this. I've got at least 7 more of these streams to go, but I'm troubleshooting one of them. So I hate to do this, but I'm gonna work on this. I'm still here. I'm still talkable. Excellent. So I think it would be really a big deal if More Light does this week, and he seemed positive to do it, and he's got a great personality, and I think like for an influencer such as this Goldstein to now know about it, I mean, like, we made a connection in his mind yesterday, and that's a big opportunity for us and the ticker to get famous. But he's like, I see this ticker Bitcoin everywhere. That's what he said. His exact quote was. He said, exactly. He said, I see this ticker Bitcoin everywhere, but I don't know anything about it, and I know it's a meme coin. Like, this is the way his show goes. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's kind of boring, but he says, all right, we're gonna go through all of the meme coins, and he goes through all the animals. So he goes through like the frogs and the capybara and all these things. He goes through them all, and then he does the request from the audience, and he said, you know, I see this meme coin everywhere. I see ticker Bitcoin everywhere, but I don't know anything about it. I told him about it. He said, it's really nice to know that. Well, here was the bad thing, Bobby. Right before I'm about to speak, he has a friend come on, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And the friend's like, "Oh, I'm doing really well." He's like, "You know, your PFP changed." And the friend's like, "Yeah, it did. I was embarrassed the other day because you told me I was shilling my project, and I didn't want to shill my project. I was just letting people know about it." And David's like, "No, it's fine. I understand people coming here and they're gonna shill, but honestly, I can't stand it. I can't stand people who shill. It bothers me. That's not what we're here for. If you want to shill, go shill somewhere else. Don't shill here." So I'm the next person up, and all I'm gonna do is shill this fucking coin. Shit. Shit. I'm fucked. So he's like, all right, well, what is this Harry Potter, whatever, you go. And I'm like, all right, well, I want to make you aware that we're a different project. We have a really great community. We live stream it. All the videos recorded on YouTube. We just had our founder who was in the karate combat. We just had an all-time high. We have over 100,000 followers on Twitter. There are really a lot of exciting opportunities with this coin, and I wanted to make you aware of it. Thank you for that. And he's like, oh yeah, I know about More Light. And I said, and I also said, you know, he was just, More Light was just in a fight with Bitcoin. But yeah, I want to have More Light on the show sometime this week. And that was the golden ticket. Once he said that, I didn't want to say anything more. I just was like, all right, I'll get it done. That's it. I don't need to talk to you anymore. You did everything that you needed to do for me. And now it's about me getting to More Light and saying, More Light, you need to do this. And it seems like he's going to do it. So I don't know what David's schedule is and how tightly packed he is. It seems like it's more professional than like, I mean, he has like employees and things. So I imagine it might be something like, yeah, we've got Thursday open, or we got Friday open, or we've got next Monday open, or something. But more like, and the other thing too, David's DMs are open, but that might mean he might get a ton of DMs. So I told more like to DM him, and you know, I'll be on more like, if you didn't get back to him, DM him again, and if that didn't work, we'll get a bunch of Frodos to DM him, and then also like comment on one of his posts or something, so that he's like, what the fuck is going on? Oh yeah, 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 I'll get with him. You know what I mean?
Hear more music, you know what the song is, you kind of figure out how it's going to end,
If
etc.
you don't know what I think you know what I mean.
It was super frustrating.
We're gonna get his attention is what I'm saying.
I don't think it takes 2 minutes to figure
I
it out.
agree. Now, I don't know if you've ever been on something so big. I know that Harry Potter, I saw it, the one time I saw it on like Spanish television or something. Do you remember this?
What was that? It's Joan Cook. Too much.
Yeah, like I want to say it was like, oh, Portuguese. That's what it was. It was Portuguese television. Yeah, that's the biggest thing on which I've ever seen it, and it wasn't like featured. It wasn't like an interview with someone. It was just kind of in the background. So this is a really exciting opportunity to talk about the coin, to talk about the community, to talk about Frodo's, and I was really happy too to make that connection with David to so that he knows what this is now. Before, it's kind of confusing. It's actually very confusing. The ticker's Bitcoin. Huh? Bitcoin. Its ticker is Bitcoin. No, it's not. Its ticker's BTC. Ticker Bitcoin is actually Harry Potter Obama Son of Canadian. And then you're like, well, what the fuck kind of name is that? And you're like, well, it's a bunch of different memes. It's a mockery of all of the other meme coins that just choose one. We chose a bunch of them. And it goes back to 4chan as an organic start. And it started with a market cap of like $7, and now it has a market cap of $136 million. That's really exciting. And with all of these things, I think that that could screen handle at least for a little bit. We're, honestly, I shouldn't say that. We're gonna then become a regular thing on his show. You know when he goes through and he checks the little coins and how they're doing? He's gonna check us every day. And he might mention it every day. And that would be huge. Because then we become like a regular part of his show. We all start chiming in, we all start joining it. And then it's like, oh yeah, let's see how Harry Potter Obama Planet is doing, along with Pepe, along with Dogecoin, along with Shiba Inu, and all that other shit. You know what I mean? Super exciting. I agree. I don't know why we don't do more of this stuff. Well, I shouldn't say that. We try. We do it. We do it a lot. I shouldn't say. Let me go back on that. I don't mean that. We do a lot of that stuff. Even, I should say, I know we do a lot of it, and I think we should do more. That's what I should have said. Because we just did Between Two Sparrows last week with Slum Doge Millionaire. He's an influencer. I just watched his documentary on this stream last week, and he has a fascinating story. And it's just about making inroads with these communities and these influencers, and then they're gonna show up. They're gonna, know who we are. They're gonna mention us. The more we get mentioned, the higher the ticket price goes. So can't beat that.
Hey, if I'm the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon. With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is the captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
Find your iHeartRadio everywhere. There are hundreds of ways to experience iHeartRadio at home and on the go, beyond the iPhone and Android app and at iHeartRadio.com. Here's another way to connect to iHeartRadio. Xfinity customers, iHeartRadio is available free on Xfinity X1 or on Xfinity Flex. The easiest way to access iHeartRadio? Just press and hold the microphone button on your Xfinity remote and say iHeartRadio. And you'll be taken directly to the iHeartRadio app to listen to all your favorite music, radio stations, and podcasts right on your TV. Plus, check out Xfinity Ambient Moods to set your screen to beautiful photos and videos paired with hand-curated playlists from iHeartRadio to set the right mood. It's the screen you watch the most in your home, and you never knew that it was one of the most popular ways to listen to iHeartRadio. Check it out for free now. iHeartRadio. Anywhere you want to listen, iHeartRadio is there.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
When you Google search the word culpable, here's what it comes back with in the dictionary. Culpable. Adjective. The definition. Deserving blame.
You got two people that were there, and neither one of them had the same story. If the man killed himself, that should have been the story between both of them. But when you get two stories, somebody's right.
And when used in a sentence, sometimes you're just as culpable when you watch something as when you actually participate.
My theory is that there was a third person there.
But in some cases, like this one I learned about in Meridian, Mississippi, the word can take on even more meaning. Because in this case, if you really want to consider who's to blame, you gotta look beyond the suspect.
This was a 45-minute investigation. 45 minutes. And ironically, it was called to a halt by an assistant police chief that had nothing to do with the investigation.
And it gets worse and worse and worse the more you know.
From Black Mountain Media and Tenderfoot TV, this is Culpable.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one.
I'm just astonished and stunned that the thick skulls in California apparently don't understand it. If China and India are going on coal plant sprees, building them everywhere, the lack of economic understanding is just astonishing. John Kobo. And it's stupid and it's destructive.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
That sky killing time, lean up on my shoulder and I thought God didn't mind. So alive, I felt like I could die. Because it's no my spare time. Yeah, I can
You're going to tune in KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Deborah, I could not believe that you had not watched Dirty John yet. The podcasts are great.
Yes. Well, okay, so I was hanging out with a friend yesterday, and somehow we started talking about Dirty John. She said, "Oh my God, you haven't watched that? Listen to the podcast. I don't know anything about this."
Oh my gosh.
So I binged. I think I watched 4 episodes.
Yeah, if you get a chance, the original one, Dirty John, was about John Meehan, who swindled a woman in Orange County, I believe. And the reporting on the podcast is phenomenal, and the shows it's all very good. It's a very good industry of bad people.
I sent Shannon a text last night. I said, "Oh my God, you got to watch this." She's like, "I watched that so long ago."
I blew through that years ago. Yeah, it's a good one.
Speaking of watching, like, for different reasons, I checked out the new Roadhouse.
And
Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Jessica Williams. It's very entertaining. You know what you're getting. But the music, I thought, was one of the best parts of the movie. This is from Post Malone. It's the closing credits, and I'm not giving anything away by playing it, but it's called Horsepower. But what he goes, he's credited as Austin Post in the in the credits, as opposed to Post Malone. So I thought that was kind of weird. But some great songs. Jake Gyllenhaal plays Jack Dalton, that's going to be, of course, taken over as the bouncer for this roadhouse down on the Florida Keys, in this case, instead of Missouri. But since it's a roadhouse, there's music the whole time, and there is all kinds of great music. Some of it is cover songs, some of it's the original stuff that they use, but I thought that was good.
Do I need to watch the original Roadhouse?
No. Okay. If anything, you watch it just to be like, oh, they took that character out, or they changed that character, or they did something.
Is the original Roadhouse worth a watch?
I love it. I think it's great. If nothing else, because now, when did it come out? 84? 88? If you were to just look at it, 89 is when the original came out. If you look at it, you're 9 years old, and think about that's how movies were made when you were 9. The lighting is totally different. All that stuff is very staged.
Yeah.
That's the part that I think is weird about it, but I remember watching it. I was 16 at the time. I mean, it was an excellent summer, fluffy.
I love movies that were made in the late 90s, late 80s, early 90s, because that was when I was that age of like 8 or 9 or 10 when movies were magic, and they all had that soft lighting. Like, there was just a way that they were shot back then.
Yeah.
I was just reading in this People profile of Robert Downey Jr., and they mentioned his movie Chances Are from 1989. And I was so enamored with all the movies that came out that I got to go see, and that was one of them. And I haven't seen that movie probably since 1989, but I love that. They were talking about how he showed that he could carry a film in that one, where he plays like a time traveler. It's a love story. But anyway, I think I will check out the original Roadhouse.
I mean, it's really good. The original. Did you see the new one?
Yes, I did.
And it's not really, really good.
No, it's too much CGI.
It's good. It's good. You know what you're getting into. I mean, it's like, it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's the first one.
It's an apparently very coked up Conor McGregor making his way through the. He had some funny stuff. There were some funny moments, and it was lighthearted. But so yeah, that's on Amazon. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has just signed off on legislation designed to protect songwriters, performers, and other music industry professionals against the potential dangers of artificial intelligence. That song was one that we came up with last week. I shouldn't say we came up with. We prompted a songwriting AI tool to come up with, and they did Mr. Bummerpuss, Half Man, Half Cat, and it's an iconic song. I think it's going to live with
Instant iconic status.
Instant.
I mean, who's not talking about Mr. Bummerpuss?
They talk all the time. But Governor Lee out of Tennessee knows that they are the center for a lot of music industry in the entire, well, I guess you could say in the entire world. The birthplace of country music, the launch pad for a bunch of musical legends. They said the goal is to make sure that AI tools cannot replicate an artist's voice without their consent. And this bill will go into effect on July 1st. That was, in fact, one of the questions that we had when we were goofing around with that AI song generator was, would you be able to do it in the style of Neil Young,
right?
Or, you know, Chris Christopherson or something, you know, would you be able to specify that? And these voices that they came up with, I don't know where they got them, I don't know who they sampled them from, but you can only do genres of music. You can't do actual artists. You can do country, you can do pop, whatever, but they said it's one of 3 states, specifically Tennessee is one of 3 states where name, photographs, and likenesses are considered a property right rather than a right of publicity. This new one is called the Ensuring Likeness, Voice, and Image Security Act, the Elvis Act. Voice likeness would now be added to that list specifically, so you cannot go use AI to make it sound like somebody else.
Remember when we made the song about milking the male goat, and they took it a step further? They picked up that football and they ran it down the field with milking the thing dry.
Yeah, until your hands
We didn't prompt it to milk the goat dry.
We didn't say disgusting.
We didn't say cross the line AI and get weird about it.
Woke up this morning with a belly goat by my side. He looked at me with those big old eyes. I said, hey, that goat, what you doing here? He just looked at me and started to scare.
That's good. So she would start getting creepy right there. And, ooh, yeah.
Gonna milk that little goat, milk him dry. Gonna squeeze him tight till my hands are tied. Gonna make some cheese and butter too. These little goat blues got me feeling blue, yeah.
Oh boy. What should we write a song about this week?
I don't know. Think of something. We could do it tomorrow.
Oh, we could do a song about John and Ken.
Okay. And their yearly retreats.
Do you like how I'm constantly trying to bring Ken back from the afterlife?
You've always had a weird fascination with him.
I know.
Nobody else has, Matthew.
We share a bond.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
You were the only one he talked to.
I was just going to say, I think you guys were 2 very, very different people. Yeah. But that bond thing is...
It's strong.
I don't know what you saw in each other.
What's coming up on the show?
We're going to promote this Menendez series.
Oh.
On Fox Nation, a 4-part docu-series on the Menendez brothers case in the 90s, because we were a big part of it.
Yeah.
We're in this series a lot.
Oh, that's great.
We have a long interview.
I've watched about 97 miniseries, movies, documentaries about the Menendez brothers, and it's an insatiable appetite.
Well, here's your 98. It's an interesting perspective, because had that happened today, people may have been much more sympathetic to the Menendez brothers.
Yes.
Back then,
everybody dismissed sexual abuse. Yeah, nobody cared if it happened. A lot of people thought it didn't happen. It was just made up.
It was kind of taboo.
Right. So nobody wanted to discuss it. So there's video of us from back then, the Friday Menendez yard sale, where we raised $4,000 for the prosecution.
Friday Menendez.
You don't know about that, do you?
I love that.
That's a whole new. Yeah, we got hundreds of people show up and sell jobs so we raise money for the prosecution.
Oh, that's great.
Gilgar said ended up with a hung jury and claimed he didn't have the money. He couldn't even afford pens and pads.
Wow.
And so I had a 3-day hunger strike.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. I can't. When does this thing come out?
It's supposed to be released today.
Oh.
It's 4 episodes, and then tomorrow we're going to have the director. And I gave them hours worth of tapes. So apparently we're a big part of it.
I love it. It's just like the Christopher Dorner story. Big part of that one as well.
Like it. Only who hasn't forgotten that. The John Koval shows up next. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay dry, everybody.
Classic.
Yeah, everything you said just sounds completely same. Gary and Shannon. So.
What'd you say, baby?
But okay.
Perfect for achy, indecisive minds. KFI's cooling info gel quickly relieves ignorance and lets up guilty fresh scent.
KFI.
KOST HD2.
What up, Tim?
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Still searching for a kidnapped man. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The Orange County Sheriff has asked for help finding a man who was kidnapped in Midway City.
2 men have been charged with felony aggravated kidnapping. One of the men, Nan Nguyen, is a convicted murderer. OC Sheriff Sergeant Matthew Parrish says a woman told police a man in a mask grabbed Tony Lamb from right out in front of his house.
Our deputies, when they got there, through some different interviews and evidence that was left at the scene, were able to confirm that an assault did happen and then a kidnapping shortly thereafter.
Parrish says Lamb was last seen by friends, family, or co-workers 10 days ago at LB Restaurant and Lounge in Westminster and the 171 Sky Restaurant in Garden Grove. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
The news is brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. A teenage girl has shot and killed herself with a deputy's gun in the city of Industry.
We believe that this incident stems from a family disturbance call that deputies were responding to or had responded to.
LA County Sheriff's Lieutenant Art Spencer says the girl knocked on the lobby door of the sheriff's station last night and lunged for one of the deputies' guns. The girl then shot herself during a struggle. Spencer says deputies had responded to a home before the shooting on reports the girl was having a mental health crisis. The girl was gone when deputies arrived. 911 calls in Orange County are being routed differently. OC Healthcare Agency Director Dr. Veronica Kelly says dispatchers now ask callers screening questions to determine whether police or a mobile crisis team is the best response.
The whole point is to get the individual in crisis to a safe place where they can receive care, and also to allow law enforcement to do their job of protecting and serving and addressing criminal activity.
Kelly says 911 callers are asked if the person is in immediate danger to themselves or if they're committing a crime or safety hazard. She says OC Healthcare started the screening process this month in partnership with the OC Sheriff's Department. 4 homes in the Hollywood Hills have been red tagged because of a landslide.
One home had a hole in its side where boulders and dirt rammed through the house, breaking glass in the kitchen and caving in walls. This man has lived in the area for 5 years and says these people may be wealthy, but these are still homes they've poured their lives into.
Some people might have been here for 20, 30 years and the area's changed around them. And they might not be in the same situation as somebody else that came in a year ago or so.
More storms hit Southern California over the weekend, adding more rain to already saturated land. One neighbor said firefighters were called to the area yesterday where he watched the mud seep into the back of the homes. In the Hollywood Hills, Chris Adler, KFI News.
A judge in New York has set the trial in former President Trump's hush money case for April 15th. Trump's lawyers had asked to postpone the original date after a last-minute document dump. Prosecutors say only a handful of the documents are relevant to the case. The judge told defense lawyers they should have acted sooner if they did not have all the records they thought they were entitled to. The hush money case stems from a payment made to porn actress Stormy Daniels during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. A total solar eclipse set to cast a shadow across a large part of North America. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says her state has been preparing for the April 8th event for many months.
New York has to be in the sun and the limelight, and to make sure that we all do this in a smart, healthy way that people remember for generations to come.
Local says the eclipse will be great for tourism. It will start at sunrise over the Pacific Ocean across the U.S. from Texas to Maine. One popular destination to see the event is expected near Buffalo, New York, and NASA says a new app will help them figure out the actual shape of the sun during the eclipse. Researchers say they need people to download the Sun Sketcher app and record video of the total solar eclipse on April 8th. The KFI financial update is sponsored by Quantum ePay. The Dow is closing down 162. S&P 500 down 16. NASDAQ down 44.
Brought to you by Quantum ePay. Merchants who make the switch to Quantum ePay save an average of 53% on payment processing. Call today to see how much you can save. Just dial #250 on your cell and say keyword Quantum.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some spots. Highs low to upper 60s for Metro, LA, the beaches, Inland OC, and the IE. 60s to low 70s in the valleys. Mid-50s to around 60 in the high desert. Right now, 60 in Seal Beach, 64 in Buena Park, the same in Agora Hills, and it's also 64 in Sherman Oaks. We're going back to the 57 in Brea.
On the 57 southbound between Imperial Highway down to Yorba Linda Boulevard, all of the southbound lanes are shut down. Now, they are getting you through over on the shoulder, taking you off at Yorba Linda Boulevard. Then you can re-enter the 57 there. Good news on the northbound 57. All of those lanes have been reopened right at Imperial Highway. Had a big rig that went from the northbound through the center divider to the southbound. That's what's causing that trouble. Also in Diamond Bar, 60 eastbound before Phillips Ranch Road. Got an accident blocking the left lane and the middle lane. In Irwindale, 210 westbound of Irwindale Avenue, got a crash block in the right lane. Another car's in the bushes over on the shoulder. In Industry, 605 southbound connector to the eastbound 60. An overturned big rig there is blocking the ramp. And in Hollywood, 101 northbound at Highland Avenue, that accident still blocking the right lane. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Arvin.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Junior. Today, Black folks in our community are still disproportionately affected by HIV. But there is something we can do about it. There's no cure for HIV, but there are effective treatments that, taken as prescribed, can help you live healthy with HIV and get to and stay undetectable, which means the amount of virus is so low it can't be measured by lab tests. If you're living with HIV and not on treatment, talk to your doctor about treatment options. Learn more at treathivtoday.com. This message was sponsored by Gilead Sciences.
After 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation promised to make sure we never forget. Since then, it's been supporting America's heroes and their families. Heroes like U.S. Army Specialist Michael Hook, who was killed in Iraq. Hook left behind a pregnant fiancée who gave birth to a son he would never meet. Tunnel to Towers paid off the mortgage on their home. America's heroes need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2, T.org.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino. With cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
John Cobalt Show, Can't Fight, AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we're on the radio from what? until 4. And after 4 o'clock, it's John Cobalt Show on demand, the podcast version, same as the radio show. In case you missed anything, we have much to cover today, but the moment's going to get crowded out because Steve Gregory has an exclusive story that he's breaking. And we're going to get him on the line here to talk about it because I have only a headline. I don't have any of the details. So, Steve, let us know what you have. Yeah, and you remember about a week or so ago, I tipped you off that I was being told about a pending bust that was about to happen. And today was the day. I was out here at around 6:45 this morning. I'm in West LA on Mapleton Drive. I'm in front of the home of P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs, and I'm told that he was taken into custody in somewhere in the East Coast, and soon after that, a convoy of Bearcats, like SWAT vehicles from the federal agencies, Homeland Security Investigations and other agencies, rolled up here to go in and search his house. Now, if you don't know, and you might not know, that P. Diddy's been involved in a series of accusations in the last couple of years involving the trafficking of minors for sex. And a lawsuit filed in December and another one, a separate one filed in February this year, alleged that Diddy actually procured these teenagers, both boys and girls, to have sex not only with him, but also with his friends. And I'm told by law enforcement sources that today's raid on his property here on Mapleton Drive is directly related to that. Homeland Security is involved in this. Why? Because it's what they consider a transnational crime or a transcontinental crime. So that means part of the allegations in these lawsuits is that Diddy would fly these underage kids on a private jet. So there's international travel potentially and or interstate travel, and that's when the feds get involved. Do we know what countries they were traveling from? That I don't know, but again, it could be all domestic. So once it's interstate like that, and it involves private transportation like that, then Homeland Security would actually be one of the agencies to investigate along with FBI. But HSI also specializes in trafficking. That's one of their primary focuses and goals is to make a dent in the trafficking, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking. So it's pretty much right up their alley. All right, so he's under arrest, and they are confiscating a lot of his possessions and records and computer files, I imagine. Yeah. Is that still going on, man? Yeah, I mean, we literally rolled up on scene a few moments ago, and there's a bunch of those white panel vans that are lined up on the street here. We're facing sort of a northeasterly direction on Mapleton Drive. Those 3 Bearcats rolled up first, followed by probably 4 or 5 of those panel vans. And those vans presumably would include boxes and bags that they'll collect evidence with. A lot of electronic evidence in this case. Mapleton Drive, so this is Holmby Hills. Yeah, off of Sunset Boulevard, and this is where the Playboy estate used to be. There's a lot of money here, a lot of big homes, and the property is gated, but not the community that we came in, the direction we came in. A lot of big gates for access into driveways, but not a gated community per se. So we were able to get right up here, about as close as we could before LAPD shut it down for us to get any closer. But we can see, I'm looking at right now, members of the Homeland Security Investigations SWAT team. They're decked out in the olive drab flak vests, the ballistic vests, and their helmets. You got people with windbreakers that say HSI on the back of it, and they're near their Bearcats right now, and they've got people going into the property. This must be a pretty serious operation that they think Diddy was running. Well, it's that kind of manpower and that much equipment. And from a federal agency. I mean, Homeland Security Investigations doesn't get involved unless it rises to this kind of a situation. A lot of times FBI handles most of the domestic stuff. HSI handles a lot of the transnational stuff. So that's why, based on my experience with Homeland Security Investigation, we don't know whether there's other countries, a la Jeffrey Epstein kind of stuff. Right. Chris Brown has shades of Chris Brown in it, according to what the lawsuits claim anyway. Right. But we're not. There's no paperwork on these particular charges. today. No. This is fresh. I mean, John, as soon as they got the green light that they had him in their sights and that they at least had approached him or him, then they got the green light here on the West Coast. And let me give you some backstory. Originally, when I was tipped off on this a week or so ago, they were surveilling him locally. I know that law enforcement sources told me they had been surveilling him already here. It was their intention to take him into custody here in Los Angeles. But over the weekend, he took off by private plane and went back east. So they had to really reshift at the last second. They had to reshift their strategy. And they didn't even know if they were going to be able to pull this off today, but then they were able to mobilize a team back east. They were able to get off on his plane, get about his plan, and then they were able to converge and at least get him into custody is what I'm told.
But you are the first one in the world to have this, as far as I can tell, because I can't find any information on the internet now about him being arrested or this raid at his home in Holmby Hills.
No, that's why I got there at 6:35 this morning, and it got late twice, so we stuck it out, and we did.
All right, Steve, when you find more out, let us know right away. We'll put you on immediately.
Got it. Take care, friend.
All right, excellent work. Steve Gregory, KFI News, and yeah, he did tell me a week ago that he had a tip. Homeland Security, he has a source there, said you might want to be available very early next week, Monday, Tuesday. I think originally it was scheduled to be a middle of the night raid on Diddy's home on Mapleton Drive, and then as Steve just explained, Diddy took a private plane out to the East Coast where he has been arrested, but his house is being raided by many law enforcement personnel from Homeland Security and other agencies, and they have 3 Bearcats that have shown up outside the property, and they're going to be confiscating a lot of stuff. This is Sean Diddy Combs. He's had various rap names, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, and going back about 25 years, back in the late 90s, he had his first run of hit records. He was a record producer, record executive, extremely well known and extremely successful. But in recent years, and this is dogged him periodically, he's been the target of sexual lawsuits, civil suits. And now it looks like there's major criminal charges. It indicates that some kind of sex trafficking was going on. By the amount of equipment and the amount of manpower they have, it must be quite an operation they think he was running. He's in custody on the East Coast. No details as to where, but you heard it here first. Steve Gregory with a worldwide exclusive on KFI. When we get more, we'll pass it along to you. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Former President Trump's special money trial in New York will start April 15th. A New York appeals court has agreed to hold off collection of Trump's more than $454 million civil fraud judgment if he puts up $175 million within 10 days. The United Nations Security Council has demanded a ceasefire in Gaza during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. It's the first call to halt fighting. We are going to go to a crash on the 60 in Diamond Bar.
60 eastbound, this is right before Phillips Ranch Road. They're trying to clear this from the left lane. I do still see a lot of slowing coming away from the 57. And in Brea, 57 southbound, between Imperial Highway and Yorba Linda Boulevard, the southbound lanes are still shut down. They're making you get off the freeway by taking the shoulder, and you're getting off at Yorba Linda and get back on if you need to head southbound. But good news, 57 northbound right there at Imperial Highway. That earlier part of the crash has cleared. All the northbound lanes have been reopened. And in Hollywood, 101 northbound at Highland Avenue, trying to clear that wreck from the right lane. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
The college hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here. And you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Tanya here, and there are many ways that we can all help raise awareness around HIV, but maybe the most important is just talking about it openly and honestly. There's no cure for HIV, but there are effective treatments that, taken as prescribed, can help you live healthy with HIV and get to and stay undetectable, which means the amount of the virus is so low it can't be measured by lab tests. If you're living with HIV and not on treatment, talk to your doctor about treatment options. Learn more at treathivtoday.com. This message was sponsored by Gilead Sciences.
Get year-round comfort knowing your home is backed by industry-leading Lennox equipment and expert technicians at Great Lakes Heating and Air Conditioning. Special savings opportunities and federal tax credits are available. So call 574-287-5046 or visit us online at greatlatesheating-ac.com/coupons to learn more.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
Laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Oh, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Never says plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Marketing at Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale, it does include specific local markets, and that's the beauty of iHeart's network.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
iHeartRadio Did You Know? Presented by iHeartRadio. You know, what you're listening to right now. Did you know that iHeartRadio makes it incredibly easy to always be up to date on your favorite podcast? When you find a favorite, make sure to tap that follow button. Yep, just like on Instagram. So if you figure that out, you got this. Hit that follow and you'll get notifications as soon as new episodes drop. Your followed podcasts are collected in your library for instant access. And we'll download the latest episodes right to your phone so you don't have to stream them and you can listen offline without the internet. And you get all this for the low price of free. Yep, if you're looking for that great podcast experience, you don't need another app. We've got all that covered for you free with iHeartRadio. #1 for music, radio, and podcasting, all in one app.
Especially in Spain, if you want the cash machine, if you want me to go to the ATM, I walked up to someone and said, yeah, ¿dónde está the ATM? Where's the ATM? They gave me directions to the bus stop, locally in Barcelona. That is the MTA. Wait a minute, I'm looking for Máquina de Dinero live 7 to 10 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
John Cobell Show, KFI, AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And if you're just joining us, Steve Gregory just broke an exclusive story that Sean Puffy Combs, also known as Puff Daddy and P. Diddy, famous rap star, hip-hop executive, record producer, and he's in a lot of trouble. The Homeland Security was conducting a huge federal investigation. Fox 11 now has a helicopter over the scene, and they're on Diddy's property in Holmby Hills on Mapleton Drive, which is a very wealthy, exclusive area. It's where the Playboy Mansion used to be. And they're showing video now of guys in looks like riot gear, wearing helmets, and they're prowling all over the property. It's a huge, huge estate, enormous home. It looks like a guest home also on the property. And they're searching the entire property looking for evidence about this sex trafficking case. Now, we are dealing with nothing but the raid here. The story is that Diddy fled to the East Coast on a private plane over the weekend. He may be in custody, but I want to clarify, we're not certain of that yet.
Meantime, his property is completely taken over by a lot of scared. They almost look like soldiers. Like this looks like a war invasion.
Any initial thoughts on the Puff Daddy
They've got big
raid
weapons,
questioner?
and whatever they think he did, it's got to be pretty serious and extensive. Trafficking girls and boys from other countries into the U.S. Now, I'm looking, I don't want to mischaracterize anything, but do you have that Channel 11 on in there? Does it look like they've got somebody handcuffed and they've got police circling him with guns pointed at him just outside the property of one of the streets? There's a main mansion and 2 guest houses, and they've got somebody, a young man, standing with his hands behind his back, maybe handcuffed. It's hard to tell because I think Steve might be the only reporter on the ground as of now. This is a helicopter shot, and it's they've got these Bearcat, tank-like vehicles and all this personnel wandering around outside and inside the property. He's had a series of lawsuits going back to, the most recent one was February 27th, and it was filed in federal district court by a Rodney Jones Jr., also known as Lil Rod. He was working a while back on Sean Combs' Puff Daddy P. Diddy's album. Jones said he was a producer of 9 of the album tracks, lived with him for months at a time. He claims that Combs grabbed his genitals without consent. He tried to groom Jones into having sex with another man, told him it was a normal practice in the music industry, forced him to hire prostitutes and participate in sex acts with them, among other things. When the suit was filed, it looks like the demand was for $30 million. His story was at Mr. Combs' house in July 2023. He was forced to drink shots of tequila laced with drugs. Jones said after he had the drink, he passed out and woke up at 4 the following morning naked with a sex worker sleeping next to him. Combs forced Jones to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts for the pleasure of Combs. And he was offered money, threatened with violence if he didn't cooperate. 73-page lawsuit filled with graphic details and photographs. Also named as defendants the Universal Music Group, which Combs briefly partnered with, and he claims he wasn't paid properly.
I think he should have been arrested for not putting out a decent song in 2 decades.
A woman named Cassandra Ventura, who was Combs' longtime girlfriend, accused him of rape and years of physical and sexual abuse in another detailed lawsuit. That suit was settled in a day. 3 other cases followed in quick succession, each alleging sexual assault. And last week there was a claim from a woman who said Combs gang raped her in 2003 when she was 17. So it's a lot of ugly news.
They broke that he was arrested on Los Angeles radio, and now they are saying it is just a raid on his house in Homewood Hills, and that he is detained allegedly on the East Coast.
All we've got are these distant helicopter
Period.
shots.
Somebody is in handcuffs on camera, though. Period.
But just to recap, Steve had told me a week ago that he has a source of Homeland Security who said there was going to be a big raid in West LA early next week, this week, and that they were going to alert Steve so he could have the exclusive, which he had the exclusive today. And but we don't have any details about the criminal charges, paperwork. We don't have it confirmed that P. Diddy has been taken into custody back east. It's possible, but we don't know for sure. And
Puff Daddy has that dog in him.
Raid him early in the morning, overnight, maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. When Diddy got on his private plane and left, I don't know if he had advance word or that's just a coincidence. They had to change their tactics, and they started earlier this morning to invade the property, and it really does look like an invasion. So I can't imagine how extensive the case is to use this much manpower and this much, looks like military hardware. I mean, really looks like they were prepared to go to war and bulldoze the place. And that's on Mapleton Drive in Holmby Hills, in case you're traveling in the area. All right, we've got more coming up, and if Steve has further details, he'll join us. I think the quote that Steve passed along to me from somebody is TMZ is going to love this one. So it made me wonder all weekend who the big star was going to be that was getting nailed. Deborah Mark live on KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Federal SWAT team officials are raiding the home of Diddy in Holmby Hills. KFI Steve Gregory is live at the scene.
At around 1 o'clock this afternoon, a SWAT team with Homeland Security Investigations rolled up here at 200 South Mapleton Drive to search the home of Sean Diddy Combs. They are saying that it could be related to at least 2 lawsuits that have been filed against Combs in the last year, both alleging underage sex with minors and also sex trafficking. Homeland Security Investigations is an agency, an offshoot of Homeland Security, and they specialize in investigating sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and human trafficking cases. They will not talk to us right now. We are hoping at any moment someone will come over and give us a statement about why they're here and what they hope to find. We're also told that Combs had flown to the East Coast over the weekend. They were expecting him to be here, and it's not clear yet whether or not he's in custody. Live in Holmby Hills, Steve Gregory, KFI News.
Striking workers have agreed to new tentative contracts at 34 hotels in the LA area.
Hotel workers represented by Unite Here Local 11 celebrated outside the Intercontinental Hotel in downtown LA. Union Co-President Kurt Peterson says the deal is worth $1 billion over nearly 4 years.
We have won a life-changing contract that transforms hotel jobs.
The deal includes $10 an hour pay raises, healthcare and pension gains, and a return of daily room cleaning. Labor disputes are ongoing at 27 area hotels. Michael Monks, KFI News.
The Department of Labor says there's been an alarming increase in child labor violations. ABC's Brian Clark says the department investigated nearly 1,000 cases just last year.
The Tennessee company that manufactures components for John Deere and Yamaha used child labor, and under a consent judgment will give back $1.5 million in profit and pay the government nearly $300,000 in fines.
He says the company subjected 10 kids to oppressive child labor. The kids will be compensated with the return profits. The European Commission has opened investigations into Alphabet, Apple, and Meta over whether the companies are complying with new competition regulations.
Apple and Google are facing scrutiny for, among other things, anti-steering rules violations, which big tech firms use to prevent developers from telling users about cheaper versions of their products.
ABC's Mike Dubusky says Meta is under investigation for its new ad-free subscription model for the European version of Facebook and Instagram. He says the investigations come less than 3 weeks after Europe's Digital Markets Act took effect. We will go to the 605 next.
If you're looking to sell your home, you call Seller's Advantage. They'll make you a cash offer, and there's no need for repairs. They buy the thing as is. There's no agents. They close in days. They buy with cash. What else do you want? They might even offer a $10,000 advance to help you with moving. Check out the reviews online and call for a no-obligation offer, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com, TRE number 0196-1658.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some areas. Highs low to upper 60s for Metro LA, the beaches, Inland OC, and the IE. 60s to low 70s in the valleys, mid-50s to around 60 in the high desert. Right now, 63 in Laguna Woods, a 60 Rancho Santa Margarita. We're going to a crash on the 605 in Industry.
So on the 605 southbound connector to the eastbound 60, an overturned big rig has that connector, that transition completely blocked. And then on the 60 eastbound, right at the 605, an accident is blocking the 2 right lanes there. It is going to be stopped from San Gabriel Boulevard. In Hollywood, 101 northbound, right at Highland Avenue. Still trying to clear that wreck from the right lane. In Brea, 57 southbound, right as you're coming up on Imperial Highway, all the southbound lanes are still shut down. From that earlier wreck, you're being taken off on the right shoulder. But the good news is 57 northbound, all the lanes are open there. And Grand Terrace, 215 southbound after Iowa Avenue. Got an exit blocking the left lane. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Marketing at Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale, it does include specific local markets, and that's the beauty of iHeart's network.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
There it is, a win for the ages.
Tiger Woods is one of our most awe-inspiring sports icons. A reflection in a lot of ways of America's history, its values, and ideals.
Puerto American Indian, mothers half Thai, quarter Chinese, and quarter white.
So, that's why you America's son. Yeah. Tiger has been world famous for decades, and his story, it comes with many chapters, groundbreaking achievements.
Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history.
A shocking fall from grace.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior.
He was on Mount Everest, and now he's at the bottom of the ravine.
And of course, what many believe is the greatest sports comeback of all time.
Many doubted we'd ever see it. Here it is. The return to glory.
But few people have really gotten to know Tiger.
And winning is kind of lonely. I knew he had to keep the world at bay.
It's largely been left to the media to tell his story.
A remarkable start, what promises to be a remarkable career.
Tiger Woods doesn't just play golf, he is golf. He's like another Gandhi.
Best in the history of golf. No question in my mind.
I'm Tiger Woods.
I'm Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Woods.
This is All American, a new series from Stitcher, hosted by me, Jordan Bell. And this season, with the help of journalist Albert Chen, we're asking,
What if the story of Tiger Woods that the media has been telling, what if it's been completely wrong?
All American Tiger. Look out for episodes every Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
KFI AM 640.
The news, what it means, why it matters.
John Cobell Show, KFI AM 640, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app, on from 1 till 4 and then after 4 o'clock. John Cobell Show on demand. And Steve Gregory could break in at any moment if he has more details on what's going on in Holmby Hills, which is on the west side of LA near Westwood, off Sunset Boulevard, near Holmby Park. It's the neighborhood famous for the Spelling Mansion, the Playboy Mansion,
And P. Diddy lives there. Sean Puffy Combs, known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, a variety of rap star names. He was is not only a huge rap star, but a record producer, record executive, and extremely wealthy. And the feds are indicating that he had a huge sex trafficking operation going on. And they have a massive raid going on his property. A lot of personnel, Bearcats, all kinds of law enforcement vehicles. It looks as if they have two people in custody. Diddy was supposed to be arrested this morning. He is allegedly on the East Coast, took a private plane out there over the weekend. And again, don't know if he got tipped off or that's a coincidence. And the story going around is he had a human smuggling operation, sex trafficking operation, possibly bringing in young boys, girls from other countries. Again, there's no paperwork on this. There's no formal charges. It's just what Steve is piecing together from his sources. And he is there live at the moment, and he has the absolute worldwide exclusive on this. And we will bring you more as time goes on. Now, at 2 o'clock, two things are happening. At 2:45, Shohei Ohtani is supposed to speak, and we'll carry that live. He may just be reading a statement, and this is about the gambling scandal that's engulfed his interpreter, Ipe Mizuhara, and Ohtani. Now, you probably know the story by now, and if you don't, you probably don't care. But Mizuhara had a bad gambling problem, and he ran up $4.5 billion in debts. And ESPN saw a number of wire transfers from Ohtani's account to this bookie named Matthew Bowyer in Orange County. Wire transfers involving that much money, you would think Ohtani had to know about. So there's really three possibilities. I doubt that Ohtani is going to speak to any of the three. Well, he's going to deny one outright, I'm sure. But number one possibility is that Mizuhara somehow had access to Ohtani's bank accounts and was able to take out $4.5 billion without anybody noticing, which is really hard to believe. Possibility number two, which I think is most likely, is that Ohtani willingly was covering Mizuhara's gambling debts because they were such close friends. That's understandable and I think most plausible. Third, that Ohtani actually ran up the debts and Mizuhara has taken a fall for him. That seems unlikely. So I don't know if he's going to add anything of substance, and I don't know who's going to translate for him either. But we're going to bring that at 2:45, assuming it's on time. All this stuff dates back to his injuries. I think the Dodgers are probably as blindsided as anybody when this story broke last week. Okay, so that's in a little over an hour. Now, another big story happening today, that at the last minute, Donald Trump got a break from a 5-judge appeals court panel. Instead of putting up, it really was going to be about $540 million a bond that he was going to have to put up until his case is heard on appeal. This appeals court reduced it to $175 million. So it was cut by almost 2/3. And he's got 10 days to come up with the money, and Trump seems to be okay with that. He said it would be my honor to post, and will post what is necessary, whether it be cash, security, or bond. And now, because it's a $454 million judgment, and we'll review the details of it in just a second, but there was about $90 million in interest that had accrued already. I think there's $112,000 in interest a day. And he had 30 days to put up the money. Today was the 30th day. And if you're keeping track of this case, there was a hullabaloo as to how he was going to get that cash because while he is worth probably $2.5 billion, it's almost all of it is tied up in hard fiscal assets, real estate, buildings, land, and things of that nature. Not easy to liquidate, and it's hard to get somebody to put up a bond for you if your collateral is expensive office towers in New York. It's difficult to on short notice at least, come up with a proper value of the building. And right now, the New York real estate market, like most big cities, office real estate market, is in complete shambles because there's so much vacant office space that it's hard to say what anything's worth right now. However, having said all of that, the whole thing is preposterous because it's always difficult to talk about this because there are people who feel Trump does no wrong, and then there are people who start spitting blood when they hear his name and want only the worst possible things to happen. And too many people don't behave rationally and don't think rationally around Trump. But I still try to. And here's the facts that I see. He did inflate his assets when he applied for loans and applied for insurance. But as far as I see, and this is borne out in the court trial, the banks did their own due diligence on what his properties were worth and gave him the money. And he paid it all back with interest. And they were happy. There is no victim in this crime. Not the banks, not the insurance companies. Anyone that he misrepresented the worth of his properties to, these entities can easily check and dispute the value and then choose not to give the loan or not to give that amount of the loan. They didn't dispute the value. They gave him everything he wanted, and he paid it all back. And as far as they're concerned, they say they're happy and they would do business again with him. So if there's a crime, it's a paperwork crime that the banks didn't care about. To say that he has to pay a $454 million fine plus interest, that's over $500 million, is obviously preposterous. Nobody's ever been charged in a case like this. In fact, nobody in New York State has ever been charged under this law in a victimless crime. This is supposed to be when people get scammed by a business. No one got scammed here, and the banks and the insurance companies were always in complete control because the banks have the money. They don't have to lend it out. And it's up to them to do the due diligence or not, come to their own conclusions. He still is not supposed to falsify the net worth, but that seems to be a paperwork crime, does it not? A small fine. There is an Eighth Amendment that guards against excessive fines. That's unconstitutional. And in fact, Ruth Bader Ginsburg a few years ago, there was a case, and she said explicitly that Eighth Amendment to protect people from excessive fines is extremely important, because otherwise you could get fined simply because the government doesn't like what you have to say, which certainly would fit this case. Trump claimed the only cash he had earmarked for spending on his campaign, and it was clearly interference by the Biden administration and the Justice Department into his ability to pay for his campaign. And it's hard not to agree with him on that. So if you want to charge him with really a very mild, benign case of fraud and fine him a relatively small amount of money, that could be fair game. But $500 million and put it up in a bond, or you lose your buildings, you lose your towers. Now, I don't think anybody wants to live under a government like that. That's Soviet Union stuff. And you wouldn't want any of your political favorites. You wouldn't want anyone in your family or your business to be treated like this by the government. There is such a thing as due process, and if after, he didn't even get a chance to file all the appeals yet. So it was really preposterous, really something that has never happened in America before. It's really garbage. This really is a political attack to try to destroy him before he runs for president, because they're afraid he's going to win. And this might ensure that he's going to win. And we're going to talk at 2 o'clock more about this. In fact, we're going to talk with Peter Charalambos, and he's going to give us some more information. All right, let's get to Deborah Marek live in the KFI 24-hour news.
Federal SWAT team officials are raiding the home of rapper Diddy in Holmby Hills. A teenage girl has fatally shot herself with a deputy's gun in the city of the industry.
Boeing CEO and two other senior executives are stepping down because of all the safety issues with the company's planes. Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some spots, high 60s to low 70s. This report brought to you by Lowe's. From the Southern California Toyota dealers traffic center, let's go place going to a crash on the 215 in Grand Terrace.
Southbound right at Iowa Avenue, the left lane still blocked with that accident. Slow from Barton Road in Brea, 57 southbound between Imperial Highway and Yorba Boulevard. Southbound lanes are all shut down. You get by over on the shoulder. The northbound lanes have been reopened though. Also in Industry, 60 eastbound right at the 605. Got an accident blocking the two right lanes. And the 605 south connector to the 60 east is going to be blocked when overturned to Big Rig. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
All right, Steve Gregory has more information on the P. Diddy raid in West LA. Let's have him on right now. I just told a few moments ago that Diddy's sons were in the house here on Mapleton Drive, and at least two of the three that were taken into custody, or at least handcuffed and stuck to the side, two of them are Diddy's sons. And we're also told that simultaneously, while this raid was going on, they were also raiding Combs's Miami property, his compound there in Miami, and it's possible they were raiding something else in the New York area. Homeland Security did send me a statement a minute ago, and they did confirm they are investigating this and that they executed what they call law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and local law enforcement partners. And this is from the New York office. So the New York office is leading this raid and investigation with the help of other Homeland Security investigation officers around the country. All right, Steve, we'll check back with you. Okay, Steve Diddy, this massive raid, among other places, P. Diddy's huge mansion in West LA, Holly Hills area on Mapleton Drive. And so the two young men we noticed on TV, Fox 11 has an aerial shot, were handcuffed. We're going to take a break, and more to come here on KFI.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything. Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business? Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot. Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me. Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com. Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all, every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
We can't afford to pay that many people minimum wage. The real minimum wage is zero for those people that are no longer working. The companies they work for can't afford them. Bill Handel. If a person is working 40 hours a week, he or she has to earn enough money to eat.
Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI.
And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
John Koval Show, KFI, 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we heard the story broke on KFI, worldwide exclusive that Steve Gregory had about the massive raid that they're having on P. Diddy's mansion complex in Holly Hills on Mapleton Drive in West LA. And there's a massive sex trafficking investigation being done by the federal government and Homeland Security and local law enforcement. It looks as if P. Diddy's two sons have been taken into custody. And as you heard Steve mention just minutes ago, they have raided properties in Miami and in New York as well. And this is coming out of the New York office. We will continue with updates. Steve is on the scene. And again, ABC News and Peter Charalombos is going to explain more on Trump getting his bond requirement cut by 2/3 today by an appeals court. Big news out of Boeing today. Heads are rolling. A lot of heads are rolling. The CEO, Dave Calhoun, is going to be gone by the end of the year. Stan Deal, the head of the division that makes planes for airlines and other commercial customers, he's going to retire immediately. So that's the commercial airline division. Stan Deal, he's gone. The chairman of Boeing is going to step down as well. He's not going to stand for re-election. They've named a new chairman named Steve Mollenkopf, the former CEO of Qualcomm. And then they're going to begin a process to choose Boeing's next chief executive. This is the second CEO that had to quit in the last few years because of bad airline construction by Boeing. Because you have those two MAX 8 jets crash in Ethiopia and Indonesia back 2018 and 2019, and that led to the CEO resigning. At that time, his name was Dennis Muhlenberg. After those two crashes, Calhoun came aboard in January 2020. He'd been a member of the board since 2009, and now Calhoun, the CEO, and Stan Deal, the head of commercial airplane production, and the chairman, Larry Kellner, all out. Does that make you feel better?
No. I'm wondering, you know what I don't understand is why the end of the year?
That's the first thing I thought, too. Only one of the three guys is going to leave immediately.
Right.
And I think Kellner, the chairman, is going to step down soon. And then the new chairman, Steve Mollenkopf, he's got to start a process of picking a new CEO. But it seems like they should put in an interim CEO.
I was going to say an interim.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they all should be forced out of their offices.
What are their severance packages going to look like?
Oh my God!
Can you imagine?
Huge. In fact, I read what this Muhlenberg guy resigned a few years ago. I was just reading old stories about him. Yeah, he got a huge pay. These guys just bounce to the next company and the next company. There's no real lifestyle penalty for them. But I think the Boeing problem is so deep that if it was possible, they'd want to bulldoze the whole company and start over again. And I am guessing, I didn't read this, but I am guessing last week they had a meeting with a number of CEOs, their customers, the airlines, right? The companies that order planes from Boeing. Those CEOs had a meeting with the board, and I think they told them, we're going to just void our contracts out if you don't get new management in here. We're not going to buy planes from you anymore. It had to be that. Boeing was probably looking at their customers in open revolt, and really, I bet you the customers are the ones who fired the CEO. And you can imagine why. I mean, United has been splattered with a lot of the mud, although they've got a problem too in the way that they are doing the maintenance. Too many of those planes were United. And once Boeing manufactures the plane, now it's in the hands of the airline and how they maintain the plane. And the FAA announced that they are going to increase oversight of United Airlines to make sure United is complying with safety regulations and identifying hazards and mitigating risk. Certain activities and process may be allowed to continue, but future projects may be delayed. The FAA could potentially not approve allowing customers on United's new planes or new routes. They're going to hold that over the head of United, that if they don't get their act together, then your new planes, no one's going to be allowed to board them, and the new routes, no one's going to be allowed to use them. The FAA is reviewing work processes, manuals, facilities, and so United is also in a lot of trouble, and they should be too, because Boeing's responsible for what goes out the door, but some of these other issues that we've been reporting on for weeks have to do with bad maintenance. You know, when you have a wheel come flying off the plane as it's taking off or landing. All right, we come back. The specific details on Trump getting his bond cut to $175 million in that case in New York City. Peter Charalambos from ABC News is going to give us more detail. Shohei Ohtani, his statement, we're going to carry that live at about 1:45 over that gambling scam. Too much going on. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Heard any of our secret mind control hidden messages recently? No? That's because we're really good at it.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapper's home in LA raided. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Federal SWAT team officials are raiding the home of rapper Diddy in Holmby Hills. KFI Steve Gregory is there.
A convoy of SWAT vehicles and vans rolled up to the scene here at 200 South Mapleton Drive. Just about an hour ago, multiple federal agents entered the home, guns drawn. Moments later, several young men in handcuffs were brought outside. Published reports identified two of those young men as Combs' sons, Justin and Kane. Homeland Security Investigations is leading the raid, and while teams were going through the home here in West LA, teams raided Combs' property in Miami. Actually, some agents pulled up in boats. A number of lawsuits have been filed against Combs alleging sex trafficking of minors, allegations Combs denies. Homeland Security Investigations specializes in trafficking cases. Live at Holmby Hills, Steve Gregory, KFI News.
Burglars have swiped $150,000 worth of items from a high-end antique store in Pasadena.
Two display cases inside Global Liquidation were smashed up. The thieves took statues and crystal art pieces. Pasadena Police Lieutenant Tim Bundy says investigators are looking for evidence.
That business and runs around it are oftentimes closed for the weekend, so detectives have been out there this morning canvassing from surrounding businesses trying to get video.
Investigators say they're looking for at least two burglars. They say the value of goods stolen last week could fluctuate as the store's owners conduct an inventory of their showroom. In Pasadena, Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Orange County has changed how 911 calls are handled.
Now, 911 calls can be diverted to the behavioral health department.
OC Healthcare Agency Director Dr. Veronica Kelly says 911 calls are now screened as part of a partnership with the OC Sheriff's Department.
There are just a few questions that the dispatcher will ask. Is the subject in immediate danger to themselves or others? Are they committing a crime or creating a safety hazard?
Kelly says the screening process, which started this month, frees up police and fire for their respective emergencies while sending someone in crisis the targeted help they need. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
More homes in the Hollywood Hills have been red tagged because of a landslide. This man has lived in the area for 5 years and says seeing the homes destroyed makes him worried.
It definitely makes me more diligent about trying to reach out to fire department, local areas, make sure that my place, my neighbors' places, that we're all kind of staying on top of it.
LA City Fire was called out to the area yesterday over reports a hillside was crumbling. Officials say more rain over the weekend added to the already saturated ground. They say the land could continue shifting for years. The IRS says about 940,000 people have yet to claim more than $1 billion in refunds nationwide for the tax year 2020. The average median refund is $932 for the year. Texas, California, Florida, and New York have the largest amount of people eligible. The IRS says it wants taxpayers to claim the refunds, but time is running out. People have until May 17th to file their returns. A federal judge in New York has set a trial date for the hush money case against former President Trump. Jury selection starts April 15th. Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, says the decision is completely unfair.
We very much believe that starting this trial in April, or even starting this trial at any point before the election, is completely unfair to President Trump.
The hush money case stems from a payment made to porn actress Stormy Daniels during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. The judge told Trump's lawyers they should have acted sooner if they believed they did not have all the records they felt they were entitled to.
That's surprising and unfortunate.
Israel's prime minister has canceled a delegation visit to D.C. following the U.S. abstaining from voting on a UN Security Council resolution. The resolution was approved
14-0 by the 15-member council.
The reason we didn't veto it is because there are also things in that resolution that were consistent with our long-term position. Most importantly, that there should be a ceasefire and that there should be a release of hostages.
The State Department's Matthew Miller says the U.S. planned on introducing alternatives to Israel's military operations into Rafah. The U.S. says it's ready to present Israel with plans to defeat Hamas without causing civilian harm. The KFI financial update is sponsored by Quantum ePay. The Dow closed down 162. S&P 500 down 16, NASDAQ down 44.
Brought to you by Quantum ePay. Merchants who make the switch to Quantum ePay save an average of 53% on payment processing. Call today to see how much you could save. Just dial #250 on your cell and say keyword Quantum.
Southland weather from KFI sunny tomorrow. Highs around 70 for Metro LA. Mid-60s to low 70s in the valleys. Mid-50s to mid-60s for the high desert. Mid-60s to around 70 at the beaches, Inland OC, and the IE. Right now it's 63 in Costa Mesa, 64 in Fountain Valley, 61 in Fontana, and 65 in Van Nuys. Back we go to the 57 in Brea.
Still there, I believe this is DeKalb, 57 southbound between Imperial Highway and Yorba Linda Boulevard from an earlier accident with an overturned big rig. All of the southbound lanes are blocked at this time, and you're being diverted over to the right shoulder to get past this. Once you're past it, you can get back on because everything is reopened after Yorba Linda Boulevard. In Anaheim, 57 northbound before Patella Avenue. Brand new 3-car wreck reportedly blocking the center lane. In Whittier, 605 northbound at Rose Hills Road. Got a stall in the second lane from your left. It's Crawl already coming away from the 5. And then in Industry, the 60 east, right at the 605. The 2 right lanes are blocked with an accident. And the 605 south connector to the 60 east is also shut down with an accident there. In Grand Terrace, 215 southbound at Iowa Avenue, clearing that crash from the left lane, but we still have trouble in Victorville, 15 southbound after Bear Valley Road. The right lane is still blocked from an earlier wreck. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon.
I'm decorating, it's the new thing. I'm going for mid-century with rustic chic, with a terracotta gallery wall and Astro Drive. Looking nice. Free one-day delivery on home decor and millions of other items. Whatever you're into, it's on Prime.
This is a radio ad for Dupixent, Dupilumab, a prescription medicine for people 6 months and under with moderate to severe eczema that is not well controlled with topical prescription therapies. But since this is radio, you can't see the effects of Dupixent. You can't see how it helps you stay ahead of your eczema, or how it helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that could be causing eczema. You can't see how it helps heal your skin from within. But you can see how Dupixent can help you have clearer skin and less itch. Individual results may vary. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Get help right away if you have wheezing, trouble breathing, or swelling of your face, lips, mouth, tongue, throat. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain, vision changes, or blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. See for yourself. Ask your eczema specialist about Dupixent. Visit Dupixent.com or call 1-844-DUPIXENT.
Want to be the ultimate host without breaking a sweat? Meet Bartesian, your key to premium cocktails at home. Imagine the ability to instantly create over 60 handcrafted cocktails, from classic whiskey sours to indulgent espresso martinis, with just the push of a button. It's like having a personal mixologist right in your kitchen serving up fresh cocktails. And for a limited time, when you buy your Bartesian, you'll receive a free Classic Collection variety pack. That's 6 cocktail faves to jumpstart your soiree. Each capsule is packed with top-notch juices, bitters, and extracts. And as an HGTV editor's pick, Bartesian is the barkeep who will make your party peak. Level up your next gathering and order your sleek Bartesian today for free shipping and a free complimentary cocktails gift. Head to Bartesian.com/gift to get
What's going on, T-Friend?
That's
Hey, T-Friend, how are you?
BARTESIAN.com/gift. Bartesian, premium cocktails on demand.
What up? I can't hear you very well because of my device. Just a moment. I'll join you in another one.
Around 1 to 4, the next 4 o'clock Giant Coco Show on demand. We will check in periodically with Steve Gregory. He is reporting live in Holby Hills in West LA from P. Diddy's estate. Diddy had his palatial mansion raided today.
What's up, T-Friend? You pimp? How you living, baby?
something about sex trafficking.
Hell yeah. Do you know who I am?
Operation involving girls and boys.
Dog, I'm the biggest fucking dude you're ever gonna meet. My name is Rabbi Rothschild, and I stream my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year on YouTube. I've been doing so now for 3 straight years. This is more data than has ever been uploaded to YouTube in the history of mankind. You are currently live on not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 simultaneous YouTube streams. You are live on 10 Rumbles, 10 Kicks, 10 Instagrams, 10 Discord, 10 TikTok, 10 of every major platform that there is, even non-major ones. D-Live, YouNow, Free, Africa.tv. I'm big in South Korea, baby. Hell yeah. Excellent. All right. So you are live everywhere. I stream live 24/7. We watch the Oscars, the Super Bowl, the UFC 299. No way. Who was? Who's Sarah Larson? Nice. Is she single now? Oh. Why? Oh, Asman, she's here. Hell yeah. Absolutely. You're 100% right. World peace? Hell yeah. I love it. World peace, ... and all that shit. We're not gonna go. And dog, tell me where the fuck you want to tell me. I'm yours, baby. I love you too.
Specifically, what is that trial going to be about?
Yeah, it's going to be a lengthy trial. We're looking at 6 to 8 weeks. The allegation here is that...
Dog, you're live everywhere. Yeah, you're live in Japan. You're live, obviously, on these major platforms, but then additionally, let me read the ones that like no one's heard of in Asia. Well, actually, they're really big in Asia. There was just this influencer who was in the Harry Potter Ramasana EU space, and they were like, yeah, I'm from South Korea, but I was just in East Denver, and like I fly all over the world. I'm like seeing what's going on here. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, from where are you? He's like, well, I'm currently in South Korea. I'm like, do you know about Africa.tv? He's like, yeah, it's huge here. How do you know what that is? I'm like, because I'm live streaming about it right now. He's like, really? Like, why are you live streaming there? I'm like, because I live stream on 30 different, 34 different, 35 different platforms simultaneously. So here we go. On more than 10 different devices. I have 33 different devices. Okay. So you're live on at least 5 Rumbles. You're live on 10 YouTubes, 10 Twitches, 10 X's, 10 Caffeines, 10 YouTubes, 10 No Lives, 10 Joystick TVs, 10 Trogos, 10 Nemos, 10 FC2s, 10 YouNows, 10 Arena.tvs, 10 Lozengers, 10 V-Lives, 10 Instagrams, 10 Africa.tvs, 10 Vault Commanders, 10 Loco.tvs, 10 Nico Lives, 10 Vaughn Lives, 10 E-Plays, 10 Breakers, 10 Conduits, 10, you're on like 7 telegrams right now, no, 11 telegrams right now, and you're on something else too. Oh, Odyssey.tv. It's a big deal.
Excessive fine in a way, and to demand that it's we put up in the form of a bond. Did they make any recommendation on that?
It's a very short opinion. It's just 2 pages in this case. It was signed by these judges. It was decided by this panel of judges, as you said. It's hard to know exactly what convinced them. This was really an 11th hour move by the former president to get a delay. And to a lot of us, we were not really expecting a decision in time to actually impact this deadline. Fundamentally, Trump has argued that if you were in a position where you sell properties, for example, if he had said Trump Tower or a skyscraper does in downtown Manhattan, and if he eventually succeeded with the deal, it would be an irreparable harm. It would result in risk of his property back.
There you go. You got it. Why is he going to jail?
An argument that changed the mind of these judges. You recall about a month ago they declined a CI request. But it looks like Trump now has 10 days to secure bond or simply just pay out $175 million. And he suggested he has cash to do that.
No, he didn't seem to have any problem with it at all. He said it would be an honor to pay the bond.
So he was thrilled at this opportunity. And honestly, it came in the middle of the hearing related to his criminal trial. The former president
That's terrible.
was getting pretty tough questions from the judge in
Oh,
that
that's
case.
terrible.
The hearing took about a 45-minute break. During that time, Donald Trump got news that the appeal had been successful and told reporters that he was very grateful to the appeals court as he re-entered the courtroom. Brand new.
All right, Peter, thanks for coming on and clarifying all those details.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
ABC News, Peter Charalambos on the Trump beat today. His bond that he has to post, $175 million instead of $464 million. Apparently, he can access that kind of money, and he's not going to have Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, confiscate Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago and all his other properties over paperwork crimes, which sounds like this criminal trial is another paperwork crime that we're talking about. When we come back, the LA Times says Trump, the headline is Trump aims to round up undocumented migrants from California. Here's how he's going to do it. We'll see what their scenario they paint. Well, it's just like a relentless assault. We've got Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Federal SWAT team officials are raiding the home of rapper Diddy in Holmby Hills. The Dodgers' Shohei Ohtani is expected to speak about the gambling scandal that led to his interpreter being fired. That's supposed to happen around 2:45 this afternoon. KFI will go to that live. Florida Governor DeSantis has signed a bill banning social media accounts for children younger than 14. The law would also require parental permission for 15 and 16-year-olds. That law takes effect January 1st. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. We're going to a crash on the 60 in Industry.
The 60 eastbound right at the 605, trying to clear this crash from the two right lanes. It is causing a backup almost all the way to the 710. And the 605 south to the 60 east connector is still shut down with that disabled big rig block in the lanes. On the 605 northbound, right as you're coming up on Rose Hills Road. This is in Whittier. Got that disabled vehicle still blocking the second lane from your left. And still trouble in Brea, 57 southbound between Imperial Highway to Yorba Boulevard. All those southbound lanes are shut down from that earlier wreck. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Armin.
College hoops fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. New customers bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in
Rabbi Rothschild?
That's right. To celebrate college basketball's most
That's
fancy
me.
time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some
Yes.
bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code IHEART. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only with DraftKings Sportsbook.
What was the rule?
Promo code IHEART. That's promo code IHEART. The crown is yours. Must be 21.
There you go. Why'd you leave?
Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Tanya here, and there are many ways that we can all help raise awareness around HIV, but maybe the most important is just talking about it openly and honestly. There's no cure for HIV, but there are effective treatments that, taken as prescribed, can help you live healthy with HIV and get to and stay undetectable, which means the amount of the virus is so low it can't be measured by lab tests. If you're living with HIV and not on treatment, talk to your doctor about treatment options. Learn more at treathivtoday.com. This message was sponsored by Gilead Sciences. No matter what the day brings, call on Juicy Juice for the good stuff. Give kids the nutrients of real 100% fruit juice to help them conquer the day.
let me see if I can, I know him pretty well. I got him an interview with David Goldstein this week on Twitter X.
Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
Okay, let me see what I can do. So what's your, like I'll check on it right now. What's your social media with which they kicked you out? Is it your Telegram would be?
From classic whiskey sours to indulgent espresso martinis with just the push of a button. It's like having a
Did you?
mixologist right in your kitchen serving up fresh cocktails. And for a limited time, when you buy your martini,
Would you say that you won't ever say it again?
That's 6 cocktail faves to jumpstart your Suarez. Each capsule is packed with top-notch juices, bitters, and extracts. And as an HGTV editor's pick, Artesian is the barkeep who will make your party peak.
Okay.
Level up your next gathering and order your sleek Artesian today for free shipping and a free complimentary cocktail gift. Head to bartesian.com/gift to get started. That's BARTESIAN.com/gift. Artesian, premium cocktails on demand.
On the Woody program, Alt 98.7.
I don't know who that is.
See something, call the police. So he called the number.
That's right. I don't tell off 911. I call non-emergency.
You just let it go. All of a sudden, you're
Is that BMU?
where they can't even keep an in and out.
Is that the same person as BMU?
Junior, genius.
Live 4 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
on KFI. And on demand anytime on
Okay.
the iHeartRadio app. John Cook Show KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. So we just.
So your foot is on the website? Dude, it's a huge deal. Your foot is on the website and you're not even allowed. Dog, your foot is on the website.
From 464 million plus about another 100 million in interest,
Yeah.
down to 175 million. Looks like he can come up with the money or bond for that. The Los Angeles Times has a columnist named Brad McManus, and the headline in his column today was Trump aims to round up undocumented migrants from California. Here's how. And I'm going to run through this so you know what's coming.
Let me ask you a question. Wait, hold on. Were you a former Harry Potter Obama sign at 10 you knew Deb?
Stephen Miller, who's from Santa Monica.
That's what I would want to know. You're on the website, but okay, so you were just, what were you? Were you ever an admin?
When you have one oppressive, single political culture, a monoculture, because it's far left wing in Santa Monica, and sometimes it produces tremendous resistance. And
Okay, so I'm going to try to get you back.
And he is in charge of Trump's immigration policy. And if you believe what they say, it's always hard to tell what's campaign rhetoric and what's going to be real. But he would assemble a giant force, including National Guard troops, to seize undocumented aliens and then transport them to camps in Texas and then have them expelled. So they'd be collected in California, sent to Texas, and then deported from there. And Miller went on a podcast hosted by Charlie Kirk and said a very conservative estimate would be about 10 million. And if California doesn't want to cooperate, then we'll order National Guard units from Texas to cross into California to enforce the law. Miller promised the operation would be as daring and ambitious as building the Panama Canal. This is according to John McManus, writing for the LA Times. And the question that McManus poses in the column is, could Trump really do that? And he writes, from a legal standpoint, yes. Because there's something called the Insurrection Act. And he could declare that the National Guard is needed to enforce immigration law and send troops from Texas or anywhere else into California. And it doesn't matter if Governor Newsom agrees or not. In fact, if Newsom filed a lawsuit against Trump to block the move, it would almost certainly fail.
Right.
The Insurrection Act, according to one professor of law at Syracuse, gives the president sweeping authority. No state has ever sued successfully to stop the deployment of the National Guard under the Insurrection Act, according to another legal expert at New York University. Of course, the actual practical practical maneuvers that you need to execute here, you would be rounding up several million people. They say it's 2 million undocumented. Every paragraph has another euphemism. It's illegal alien. 2 million of them. I think there's a lot more than 2 million. But even 2 million would be 5%.
Well, I am not him.
And according to the Times, more than 2/3 have been in the state longer than 10 years. So there's going to be massive protests over this.
Yo, dog, you're getting some support to get unbanned. But I'm telling you this.
Illegal aliens, that's 7% of the state's workforce. Half of them work in agriculture, construction, hospitality, and retail. So this is what happens when you don't enforce immigration law for 30 years. You end up with a problem so big, so embedded into the economy and into the culture, and just the sheer number of people that when you say, you know what, we're going to enforce the law on everybody, no exception, everybody freaks out. Well, you can't do that. And that's what the pro-illegal immigration crowd counts on. That you have no enforcement of immigration law long enough that to try to correct the problem is too big. We've got that issue with homeless as well. They let the homeless issue fester for 10 years, and now they're saying, well, what are you going to do? We've got nowhere to put these people. What are you going to round them all up and arrest them? See, that was the plan. The plan is to have these problems not solved for such a long period of time that the excuse for doing nothing forever is, it's just too big. It's really not practical. Who's going to do it?
No.
There is a think tank called the Heritage Foundation.
Of course.
And it's led by a former Trump official. And they have all of these proposals blocking FEMA grants to state and local agencies that don't cooperate with ICE. Deny federal loans and grants to students at universities that allow illegal aliens to pay in-state tuition. And because California is, we're giving away free health care to illegal aliens. They have free schooling, free health care, free lawyers. It's so embedded in the culture. Ultimately, though, the state of California has no power to regulate federal policy on immigration if the federal government, if an administration decided once and for all they were going to enforce the law. And for all the screaming and crying and howling that would go on if Trump and Stephen Miller actually do this, and we don't know. I mean, it'd be very difficult to do it, obviously. And there's going to be 1,000 other things that need to be taken care of as well by the administration. But the border issue, that's overwhelming for much of the country. And it's been wrong or unfair that California has had to deal with the brunt of this. It costs us many billion dollars a year. And most other states haven't had to deal with what we've had to deal with. So, and, you know, Trump never has had any support in California, and he might not have any problem at all taking it on and starting a huge war over the illegal immigration issue. Now, when we come back, I was watching 60 Minutes last night, and they had an interview with the Mexican president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. And you watch this, and he spoke entirely in Spanish after translating, but we're going to play a couple of clips of the translation. And he is a piece of work. And it's pretty clear that the drug cartels run the country. You know the cartels?
employ 175,000 Mexicans in Mexico, 175,000. And if there are any journalists or any politicians who speak out against the cartels, they get assassinated. There have been hundreds of candidates killed in Mexico. Hundreds. And Obrador pretends that nothing bad is happening, and he was confronted about all the fentanyl being produced. Wait till you hear the list of demands he's making of the U.S. before he'll continue to stem the flow of illegal aliens across the border. He really has a major effect on how many illegals cross that border. And he can turn the spigot on and turn the spigot off. We'll tell you a couple of these clips and explain what that all means. Coming up. Deborah Mark is live on KFI 24-hour news.
Federal agents have raided the home of rapper-producer Diddy in Holmby Hills.
Massive SWAT vehicles rolled up here at 200 South Mapleton just after 1 this afternoon. Moments later, agents swarmed Sean Combs' compound and detained numerous young men, 2 of whom have been identified as Combs' sons, Justin and King. And while this raid was going on, it was a simultaneous raid happening at his compound in Miami. Major high recent elections, election phones were running a second organization.
We're going to go back to Steve Erickson's
You're good.
But again, federal agents
So,
have raided the home.
I don't think I'm getting you back in. They don't want you in. You were right.
Broke the story, and he will be on again with us at 3 o'clock live. 3 men from Chile have been arrested in Irvine on suspicion of burglary. Police say officers spotted a suspicious SUV last week, pulled it over, and found pet deterrent, shoe covers, gloves, and masks inside. They say the 3 men are linked to a transnational crime ring outpacing the neighborhood. Sergeant Kerry Davies said earlier this month there have been 34 home burglaries in the area over a 35-day period. Davies says 7 of those burglaries were consistent with those pulled off by theft rings from South America. Striking hotel workers in LA have announced tentative contract agreements with 34 hotels. Union co-president Kurt Peterson says the gains include pay raises of $10 an hour over 4 years and improvements to health care and pension benefits.
We declare that this struggle is over the most urgent question facing our city. Who will be able to afford to live in Los Angeles?
The union says 27 hotels yet to agree to a tentative agreement. We are going to go back to Steve Gregory, who is